opportunity for silent prayer and meditation. You may be seated. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to our Honorable Premier, MECs, honorable members in the House, the officials, guests that are joining today, those that are joining us on our social networks, Facebook and YouTube. Good morning to all of you. I'm sure we all want to rest after the hectic 3 days. This is the last day. Let's get into the business so that we can conclude in time. Honorable members and the guests that is with us, please just note that this is a formal sitting of the legislature, therefore all the standing rules of the legislature applies. Members and guests, please keep your cell phones and other devices on silent. Yesterday I was sitting here and somebody's cell phone kept on going off on my left hand side. I think it was one of the officials on that side, I'm not sure. Please, there are other people today. It's not the same group, so please, it's quite disturbing, specifically when members are speaking. I don't know if it's the elevation, because I'm sitting here, I can hear everything. Honorable members, today we have quite a number of notices of motions. I will call out those names that is in front of me to indicate. Let me just get my pen. I like things in a certain order. To indicate if I've missed anyone, this is the list that I have received in my office, and I see it's on the guide. Honorable Kotoi, Honorable Budoza, Honorable Vena, Honorable Madikizela, Honorable Gela, Honorable Pretorius, Honorable Bonga, and Honorable Kauli. That is the list that my office has received. I hope I've not left anyone out. Yes. Honorable members, I will start with Honorable Kotoi. Over to you, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Speaker. Before I start with the motion, I just want to know, Speaker, are we meeting the quorum? Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move a notice of motion in terms of Rule 131 of the Standing Rules of the Procedure, that the House must note and debate in the House in what will turn out to be a defining moment for the province of the Eastern Cape, a certain unsung heroine, Miss Eunice Tsetse, from the Alfredo District Municipality, conducted a local municipal office and submitted a petition that was signed by more than 500 people, raising concerns about service delivery challenges in the district. She was treated with disgusting contempt by the local municipal officials, and in a heroic effort, she then phoned the office of the public protector, raising concerns about lack of service delivery. In response to the complaint, an investigation was conducted by the office of the public protector public report, and it resulted in a damning report of 501 pages, which indicated that the province had indeed failed to perform its constitutional obligations in relation to service delivery, and that the failure constituted improper conduct as envisaged in Section 182, subsection 1A of the Constitution, and improper prejudice in terms of Section 6, subsection 4A of the Public Protector Act. The report was issued in October 2023. The report, titled Systemic Investigation into Allegations of Inadequate and Lack of Provisions of Essential Services and Basic Infrastructure by various organs of the state in certain villages within the province of the Eastern Cape, ordered remedial action in terms of which the Premier of the province Premier of the province, members of the executive committees, several municipalities and South African police services were ordered to report to the Public Protector's Office on the steps that they were taken to fix the service delivery challenges. The report found that the following departments were failing to perform their constitutional obligation: Department of Human Settlement, Department of Health, Department of Social Development, Department of Transport. Public Protector ordered that the implemented departments submit a detailed project implementation plan on how the issues raised in the report would be addressed. Just to highlight a few issues, the report noted that there were allegations of officials from the Department of Social Development soliciting bribes from poor and destitute people in Matatiele, Mpechwa, Wofisi, Ndakeni, and Juju, who required distress relief such as food parcels, counseling, and housing referrals. The report also ordered that a drug rehabilitation center must be established in the Alfonso District Municipality. In respect of the Department of Education, the report concluded that there was sufficient evidence to sustain a finding that the provisions of basic education by the Eastern Cape Department of Education was at risk of being compromised by the lack of proper school infrastructure and facilities. For instance, it was noted that out of 196 schools in the province which lack sanitation flush toilets, only 30 schools had already embarked on the sanitation flush programs. That some of these challenges still persist even today cannot be disputed. For instance, in the Daily Dispatch edition of 11 September 2024, it was reported that due to lack of consistent water supply, Tsomo residents are still drawing water from contaminated river for drinking water and household use. This is against the background that a constitution of the Tsomo Waste Project, which was started in 2018 and was supposed to be completed by May 2021 at a cost of 96 million, was not finished after the contract was terminated due to poor performance. In view of the fact that, in the judgment of the economic freedom fighters versus Speaker of the National Assembly and others, 2016, 5 BCLR 6118CC, the Constitutional Court held that remedial action based on the findings of a public protector is binding. The EFF would like to be informed of the steps and detailed plan of action that have been put in place to give effect to the remedial action that was ordered by the public protector. Therefore, I move this House be apprised by the Premier of the Eastern Cape of the steps that have been taken by his office to comply with the remedial action ordered by the Public Protector in her report. The MEC of the implemented departments take the House into confidence by indicating the steps that have been taken by the departments to comply with order of the Public Protector. By doing this, the founding values of the Constitution, namely accountability and transparency, will be greatly enhanced. I so move.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I note the notice of motion, and it will be debated at a later stage in accordance with Rule 133, subsection 1. We will then move on to Honourable Bedoza.
Thanks, Chair. Mandithathe elithuba ndibulise kumntu wonke okhona ehawusini, ndibulise ne-honourable fighters. Chairperson, I rise in terms of Rule 130 of the Standing Rules of the House to move a motion without notice that last month the legislature embarked on school visit and presented a report that painted a picture that all is well and good. However, House Chair, that is not a true reflection of reality. There are many disastrous schools in the Eastern Cape which range from mud structures that have collapsed to existing structures where roofs have been damaged and which poses extreme danger to the lives of learners and educators. Rural schools continue to operate under deplorable conditions. One of those schools plagued by these mere challenges is a mud school at Nkalweni SPS in Ngaleni. Learners share one pit latrine toilet while educators share the other one. The math school has also a challenge of furniture. Learners cram into desks in the school's congested classroom. Parents says they've raised these issues in the authorities without any success. The Eastern Cape Department of Education has a constitutional obligation to provide basic education to all children within the province. For any child, this is the right to access basic education, encompasses access to safe and appropriate schools infrastructure, the correct textbook and learning material when they need it, and qualified teachers. However, House Chair, the ANC government since 1994, the Eastern Cape province has struggled to deliver these three elements to the thousands of children enrolled in primary and secondary schools across the province. Therefore, this House resolves that an immediate intervention, the legislature must visit the school and speedily see to it that there is an infrastructure and teachers and learners material. The department must secure an adequate funding to address the infrastructure needs of schools, particularly those in rural areas. In addition, the department must ensure that this funding is fully utilized and not spent on anything than infrastructure.
My apologies. What I have received is nothing what you are reading. I'm trying to also clarify what we have received from yourself. It's totally two different motions without notice. Can I just be clarified? I'm not sure if the Chief Whip have received the one that the Honourable Member, but what I have received from my office, what is not what you are reading. Can I please just be clarified, Chief Whip?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
You may be seated, Honourable Member, just to get clarity.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Also, I was perusing. We have a different motion from that one in terms of the convention. Thank you.
With the motions, and amongst yourselves as political parties and the multi-party work, you have your own understanding of how you share. I just wanted to find out what I have on record, and what we have on record is unfortunately, Honourable Mendoza, not what you have submitted and signed to the legislature. Can you please correct that? I can come back to you towards the end. Or otherwise, you will have to, what you have been reading, we will put that in abeyance for the next House sitting.
You can come back to me.
Thank you so much. We will go to Honourable Vena. He's not here. I will skip that. Honourable Madikizela.
Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I rise in terms of Rule 130 of this House to move a motion without notice that this House, through the Office of the Premier, recommends to the President that King Bwelekhaya Azulbans Dalindyebo Kasabata be honoured with the Order of Luthuli for his unwavering contribution to the struggle for democracy, justice and peace. The Order of Luthuli is one of South Africa's highest national honors, awarded to South Africans who have made significant contribution to the country in areas such as struggle for democracy, nation building, building a democratic and human rights-focused society, justice and peace, the resolution of conflict. King Dalindyebo played a vital role in the fight against apartheid. Forced into exile in 1974, he joined Umkhonto weSizwe, trained by prominent leaders like Chris Hani. His exile journey was not just one of survival, but of deep commitment to the liberation of South Africa. He was trained in countries like Zambia, learning from great leaders such as President Kenneth Kaunda. May his soul rest in peace. During his life in exile, King Dalindyebo also had a privilege of being closer to kings of Lesotho and Swaziland. Upon his return in 1989, King Dalindyebo not only resumed his rightful position as the king of Abatembu, but continued the resistance his father, King Sabata, had fought for rejecting the apartheid government divide and rule tactics. His leadership remained steadfast, particularly in fostering unity by ensuring that there are no political tensions in Eastern Cape, and recently calling out criminal activities in the Eastern Cape and arguing the government to strengthen its fight against extortion gangs threat looming in Mthatha when no one else was. We therefore move that this House resolves in the spirit of the Order of Luthuli, which recognizes those who have made sacrifices for democracy and human rights. King Buelekaya's legacy of fighting apartheid, building unity and seeking justice for people must be honored. I so move.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Members, I put the motion without notice for adoption. Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Members. We will go to Honourable Gela. Honourable Gela.
Honourable Speaker, I move without notice in terms of Rule 130 that the House observe that quality healthcare services have an undisputed role to play in promoting the quality of life of the citizens of the province and that of the country. Acknowledge that quality healthcare services provisioning was created to benefit mostly the racial and the allied few of South Africa in the past, that the remnants of these historical imbalances in healthcare services still remain with us in the form of private healthcare services that benefit the few. Also note that the physical and mental well-being of all South Africans cannot be left to chance or to the mercies of the vested interested parties. Acknowledge that government has over the years elaborated policies whose central tenet is to close the gap in the healthcare provisioning in South Africa. Further acknowledge that the promulgation of the National Health Insurance into an Act of Parliament signals a strategic breakthrough in our quest to achieve universal healthcare services for all. Recognize that for universal quality healthcare objectives to be realized, all relevant role players must commit to the cause in the interest of the people as a whole. Therefore, I move that the Department of Health be steadfast in the implementation of their healthcare services plans and programs, both national and provincial, to continue working together with the ultimate goal of breaking the back of medical legal claims. I so move.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Members, I put the motion without notice for adoption. Thank you. We now move to Honourable Pretorius.
That the House notes and mourns with deepest sadness the brutal assassination of Mr. Mpakamisi Ngweni, the principal of Zakele Primary School in Kwabaka, Alfredenshoek West District, on 28th of August 2024. Further notes that Mr. Ngweni was gunned down at the school premises as he arrived to perform his duties in what is a tragic and senseless act of violence. That the House notes and condemns in the strongest terms this atrocious crime and the increasing attacks on teachers which threaten the sanctity of our schools and the safety of our educators and learners. Recognizes the growing concerns around violence in schools as incidents such as these reflect the wider societal challenges of criminality which are now being mirrored in an education environment. Calls upon law enforcement agencies to urgently investigate the matter, leaving no stone unturned and bringing the perpetrators to justice swiftly. Urges the communities of the Eastern Cape and the nation at large to join hands with the Department of Education in protecting our schools, fostering a culture of safety and security that will allow effective teaching and learning. that the House supports the South African Democratic Teachers Union, SATU, in their campaign called I'm a School Fan, which aims to mobilize communities to safeguard our education spaces. Conveys the deepest condolences to the families, friends, colleagues and comrades of Mr. Ngubeni and expresses solidarity with educators and learners affected by this devastating event. That the House calls upon the Department of Education to provide immediate psychological and social support services to the school community to assist them in coping with this tragedy. I so move. Thank you.
Honourable members, I put the motion without notice. Thank you. Honourable Bonga. Oh, that side.
Honourable Speaker, I move without notice in terms of Rule 130 that the House notes with deep concern that there is an alarming rise in lawlessness and criminal activities in Gqeberha, Nelson Mandela Bay region, and in Mthatha or Tambo region. Recognizes that such criminal acts, which include armed robberies, gang violence and extortion, are becoming increasingly common, eroding the sense of safety within our communities. Acknowledges that this escalation of lawlessness reflects the deeper challenges bedeviling our society, which include high unemployment, poverty and inequality. Express concern over the negative impact of rising crime rates on the economic and social stability of the region, deterring business investment and threatening the livelihoods of residents. Commends the efforts of the South African Police Service while recognizing their current resource constraint. Therefore, I move that the Eastern Cape Department of Community Safety implements urgent and decisive measures to restore law and order in Gqeberha, Mthatha and the wider Eastern Cape. And that the department must further increase police visibility and resources in high crime areas and strengthen crime intelligence capabilities to disrupt organized crime syndicates operating in the area. Enhances cooperation between SAPS, intelligence units, and community policing forums. Collaborates with sister departments to address the root causes of crime by investing in social and economic development initiatives that provisions of opportunities for the youth. And that the department should report back to this House on the progress made in implementing these measures and their impact on crime rates in Gqeberha, Mthatha and across the Eastern Cape within 60 days from the tabling of this motion. I so move.
Thank you, honourable members. Honourable members, I put the motion without notice. Thank you. Honourable Cowley, you are the last one.
Thank you so much, Honourable Speaker. Good morning to the Premier, to the Executive Committee, to my colleagues and the officials, and to yourself, Speaker. I hereby give notice that I move in terms of Rule 131, one of the standing rules, that this House notes that the Eastern Cape Department of Health faces severe financial challenges, which have contributed significantly to the province's overall fiscal stability. Number two, that contingent liability, primarily due to medico-legal claims, remain a major contributor to this financial crisis, though recent efforts by the Office of the Premier's Litigation Unit have reduced this liability from 38 billion to 22 billion. Three, that as of the 1st of April, the province's debts stand at 7.2 billion rand, with accruals and payables making up 6.2 billion and an overdraft of 1.1 billion, resulting in a depleted operational budget for the remainder of the financial year. Further noting that the Department of Health has run out of operational budget for the year, with 6 months still to go, that critical posts remain unfilled and creditors unpaid, and that this exacerbates the potential for further medico-legal claims against the department. 6, that the head of the department has asked for Scopa's condonation of 2.4 billion in unauthorised expenditure to address some of the debt burden and pay outstanding creditors. 7, that expediting this condonation will, to some extent, help alleviate the financial pressures that the department is currently facing. That this House therefore resolves, 1, that Scopa meet to discuss the condonation of the 2.4 billion in unauthorised expenditure. 2, that should the condonation be approved, the Provincial Treasury then fast-track Scopa's condonation as a matter of urgency, but that strict conditions be attached, namely that 600 million of the condoned amount be ring-fenced as per Section 38 of the Public Finance Management Act to create a fund to mitigate risks such as medico-legal claims. B, that 900 million be allocated to the operational budget to ensure that essential services can continue. C, that the remaining 900 million be allocated to paying major creditors, ensuring that critical suppliers and services remain operational. I so move.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Members, I note the notice of motion, and the motion will then be debated at a later stage in accordance with Rule 133, subsection 1. That brings to a close the notices of motions. We will now. Honourable Bedoza, have you decided if you are tabling today or you will stay over till the next House sitting?
I will table it today, Honourable Speaker.
The one that I have received?
Yes.
Okay, you may then proceed, Honourable Bedoza.
Thanks, Honourable Speaker. Once again, I rise to move a motion without notice in terms of Rule 130 of the Standing Rules. Honourable Speaker, I move this House to note that few months ago, Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature embarked on school visits across the province. Despite that, some schools in the province are still suffering and hopeless. One of the seven non-negotiable cardinal pillars of the EFF is free education for all. But for some kids, that is still a dream that will never come true. For some kids in the Eastern Cape, going to school is like an extreme torture inflicted by harsh teaching and learning conditions. Under three classes have been normalized. Collapsing mud and wooden classroom is what the poor parents of the community can afford to build, just to make sure that kids in the village have equal access to education. Government SPS in Maleni, educators and learners are demoralized. Changing weather conditions impact negatively to those learners. In 2017...
Order, Speaker.
On what rule are you rising, Honourable Khune?
95.
Why are you rising?
The member refers to a visit and a report that is still subject matter of the committee that has not been presented to the House, therefore anticipating that report.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I think you are having a point that is noted. No, Honourable Member, I think the Honourable Member is raising that the report will still be debated in that respect. Yes, thank you. Thank you for... Thank you.
Order, Speaker. No. Order, Speaker.
On what rule are you rising?
97.
No, can I just have the rule book, because no. Can I just have, I forgot my rule book. Can I just have the rule book, because...
No, 97, Speaker says any member can raise...
yeah, but on what are you raising? What are you raising? No.
It's a point of procedure, Speaker. It's a precedence that we have never seen in this legislature, that a member will raise a motion and then while reading, someone anticipate that this is on someone's...
No, can you sit down? I will explain to you if you do not understand the rule that the Honourable Member have raised. Sit down. The rule basically says that when we are raising motions or asking questions, if the report is still going to be debated, we may not anticipate those issues. That is what the rule says. So Honourable Khune has made the legislature, the presiding officer, aware that the issues that is being raised by the Honourable Bedoza is still to be debated on today's report. So you can't preempt that. That is a general rule in the legislature. It was possibly an oversight from the the support staff that we must look at those issues and then guide the speaker before the time. But members are at liberty to raise those issues. So he is within his right as honourable member to raise these issues, and as the presiding officer, I'm taking note of that. That is a general rule that we apply right throughout. It is applicable to questions as well as to motions when the reports are still to be tabled in the House. I think there's a general understanding of that rule. We may then proceed. Yes. In just saying you are rising on Rule 97 that's why I want to go to 97 always and see what are you raising around 97. We will now go to member statements. Thank you so much. I have received the following member statements, 3, one from Honourable Madikizela, one from Honourable Tony, and one from Honourable Kruger. Those are the only 3 that I have received. I hope we have not left anyone out. The rule still applies that when members are making member statements to the executive, it is the 3 rule is applicable, and thereafter we will allow the Honourable Premier 5 minutes per response, and the Honourable Premier will then allocate to respective MECs if he so deem. Honourable Madikizela, your time starts now, your 3 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. Please, no one must bring non-existent rules now. The EFF rises today to express a deep concern over the instability in Matatiele local municipality since the current mayor Sonwabile Mngenela took office. Under his leadership, the service delivery has moved from bad to worst, while his leadership is non-existent. The mayor's consistent meddling with recruitment processes, particularly where the outcome do not suit him, he has caused a serious turmoil in that municipality. One glaring example is his intervention to reverse the legitimate appointment of Abongile Kanya, who was selected as a general manager of community services, only to be unjustly removed because it did not align with the mayor's fictional interest. Senior managers in the municipality are resigning daily, citing the bullying behavior and undue pressure to manipulate tender contracts in favor of mayors' allies. The infrastructure department in particular is in a constant state of chaos, with the post of general manager left vacant for over a year, filled briefly and then vacant again due to the toxic environment under administration. Meanwhile, projects like Matatiele Sports Center remain unfinished after 6 years and a staggering of 37 million spent. This is the same municipality which under his administration made headlines for spending nearly 1 million on a meeting in KwaZulu-Natal, while the municipality is crippled by service delivery backlogs. Under the mayor's rule, calls for the municipal manager to be investigated. Under the mayor's rule, calls for the municipal manager to be investigated for mismanagement of and tender irregularities have fallen on deaf ears because of the protection of the manager enjoys from the mayor and likely from the provincial government. Municipal employees suspended for fraud and maladministration are paid to sit at homes for months only to be quietly reinstated without facing any consequences. The situation has gone unchecked for too long. We demand that the MEC of Kokta and the Premier of the Eastern Cape take swift action and prove that they are not beneficiaries of the rampant corruption that has turned this municipality into a mafia state. Reports alone are no longer enough.
Honourable Member, your 3 minutes are up.
And time
Thank you
is
so
now.
much, Honourable Member, your 3 minutes are up. Honourable Tony.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. I move in terms of Rule 135A of the member statement. Honourable Speaker, the African National Congress expressed its support for the government programs aimed at closing the digital divide across the board. Honourable Speaker, the digital demands of the 21st century have compelled governments and economies of the world to move with speed in investing in the digital built environment. This has ensured greater connectivity and has resulted in the fast movement of goods and services. Through the government digital infrastructure investment programs, we are convinced that we will not only see a steady rise in the performance of the economy, but will also see the corresponding rise in the digital literacy of our relatively young population. This must be accompanied by digital education so as to arrest the scourge of cyber scam and bullying. Honorable Speaker, through this government digital infrastructure development programs, we hope to address the long-standing issues of affordability and equitable share of our digital economy. The role of SMMEs, women, youth, people living with disability, and the military veterans must occupy their rightful place as we address these issues of equity. We note the government efforts of extending connectivity to rural areas, as they have always been at the receiving end when it comes to digital investment and development. Honorable Speaker, without developing local appropriate solutions to our digital needs, we stand a lesser chance of sustaining our digital infrastructure. This calls for the government to collaborate with internal stakeholders so that lasting solutions can be found and implemented for long-term sustainability of our digital infrastructure and services. We note, Honorable Speaker, the support of the broadband rollout program, the 2 Africa subsea cable that landed in our shores, and our private sector digital investment. We believe, Honorable Speaker, that through these programs, we will ensure localization of our digital technologies and will ensure greater network reliability. It will be amiss of us not to condemn the unrelenting vandalism of our digital infrastructure and extortionists that are starting to rear their heads in these areas. We hope that the communities, law enforcement agencies, and the private investors will do all they could to prevent this crucial investment. I so move.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Kruger.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, Honourable Premier, Honourable Members, ladies and gentlemen. Tourism Month is an opportunity to highlight the immense beauty, rich cultural heritage, and job creation potential of the tourism industry in the Eastern Cape. Boasting the 3rd highest domestic revenue in the country of the 3 provinces with coastlines, there are many easy wins that can be enacted to put this province onto a path of prosperity. However, to do this, the Department of Economic Development, Environmental Affairs and Tourism must, through its Parks and Tourism Agency, engage municipalities, provincial stakeholders such as roads and transport, and other non-governmental role players to prioritize roads and infrastructure to our protected areas, our tourism destinations, to ensure that we unlock the full revenue potential of these destinations. Furthermore, to leverage the Eastern Cape's multitude of parks, reserves, and natural beauty landmarks, the province must embark on a packaging and promotion campaign in partnership with private stakeholders who are already doing the same work. It is through collaboration that more can be achieved, and the Eastern Cape, the home of legends, can also become the home of tourism in South Africa. Honourable MEC, will you commit to spearheading a targeted infrastructure initiative in collaboration with all relevant provincial departments and stakeholders to ensure that roads and essential services to our key tourism destinations are prioritized? By doing so, you will unlock the full economic potential of these areas and you will create jobs for our people. The DA stands ready to support you in driving this project forward, ensuring that Tourism Month is not just a celebration, but a call to action for lasting change. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. We hand over to the Premier. Premier, you've got 15 minutes to respond. Your 15 minutes starts now. You may allocate to the respective MECs, but they will use the time within the allocated 15 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Good morning to you and good morning to all honourable members and the guests in the gallery. I want to take this 15 minutes today myself. But I wanted to give
Honorable Williams to talk on Matatiel, on the issues that are being raised around Matatiel. I'm not sure what informs what the honorable member says, but unfortunately we're dealing with obsession here. Look now, he is not here. He just talks and leaves. So that's a problem. But I hope that Honorable Williams will be able to give that detail. Probably we can even give in writing the detail that talks about the status quo of the municipality. I know it's one of the few that have actually built on their own the infrastructure offices. If you go to Matatiel, it's one of the cleanest town here in this province. I've never heard about collapse and instability in Matatiel. We fully concur with Honorable Tony on what he has raised on the digital economy. That's exactly why in our visit in China, part of businesses that we targeted was the discussion with the headquarters of Huawei about the work that they are doing. Gauteng is talking e-governance today because of the partnership they have with Huawei, but also we visited Alibaba to look and explore the possibilities of them coming here, plugging into our data center in Island and ITZ for e-commerce. So this is part of our selves broadening this, but also looking at how best do we centralize that space to ensure that we are able to use the digital economy to integrate all spheres of government and making it easy for our people to access services. We've already done in the province, a lot of things are done digital, applications, everything is almost done through the digital economy. We've moved very fast. MEC Gada was talking yesterday here exactly on that more than 1,000 schools are connected and we are able to offer classes or periods through that digital platform. The Honorable Kruger, I fully agree with you. I think you are spot on tourism. I'm happy that DA is so keen and willing. Lately, you sound good and you posture very positive. I think Jenny is working well for you. We must really look at that GNU. So I really agree with you. And a lot is there. We are an adventure province, home of legend, a province of Big Seven, not a province of Big Five. Something that is rare that you cannot easily find. Anyway, I was quite happy today to see Sun Park at Mountain Zebra live crossing, SABC this morning. So it was beautiful to showcase the Eastern Cape. I was just complaining that the lack of integration, whether it's Sun Park or what, if we are in a province, we must integrate. We can't just see an official speaking. We must see a mayor, we must see an MEC, especially when we have such kind of programs during this period. But I will give MECs, particularly MEC Williams, just to tie up this other part of if MEC Peters wants to also add few, we still have a lot on this 15 minutes. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Premier. Honourable Williams.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, the Premier, members of the Executive, Chief Whip, and all the members of the House, and all our people in the social media platforms of our legislature. Yeah, Honourable Speaker, I think it should really be in reviewing our rules unparliamentary to ask frivolous questions. And the honorable member really functions as a stupkakarki. On Matatiel, Honorable Speaker, the municipality is far from what the member is raising in terms of functionality. There has been investigations that we did from the Democratic Alliance and others recently about the municipality, of which we have submitted the Section 106 reports. Allegations of fraud and corruptions, those are things that we have investigated, and majority of the allegations against the mayor, we have cleared those allegations. There's fresh allegations against another councillor that we have submitted the report to the municipality. So there's no breakdown of functionality of the municipality, at least as we know that municipality, Honorable Speaker. And the appointments, indeed, we have been taken to court by a candidate that was not considered for appointment. So it's a matter that we're dealing with, but it's only on the basis of the technical services and infrastructure position. It's a matter that we're dealing with. I've just returned to that municipality to get some details so that we can correct our systems as government in order to ensure that everything that happens is in line with the law. So I really, I would want to give details to the member in writing. Well, I will do my part, but I'm not sure if it's going to be read by somebody if this legislature is left like this after a question has been asked. So it's quite unprofessional in my view. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honourable Williams. Honourable Peters, are you going to anything? Premier had indicated. It's up to you.
Good morning, Honourable Speaker, Honourable Premier, colleagues, and honourable members of this august House. I can see that Honourable Kruger's passion is in tourism, and I welcome that. And we are working. What he's saying is what we're doing as the department, together with our entity. We're working with all district municipalities and local municipalities, and also work with other sector departments. That's why Department of Transport is busy with roads that are connecting to the parks. So we will just make sure that everything we do, he knows, because I can see your passion will work together. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you so much, honourable members. That concludes the member statements and the responses from the executive and the premier. We will now ask the secretary to read the first order of the day.
Consideration of vote number 14, Sport, Recreation, Arts and Culture Appropriation Bill 2024.
Call upon Honourable Gaya to the podium. Honourable Gaya, your 10 minutes starts now.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, Honourable Premier, members of the Executive Council, members of the Provincial Legislature, our esteemed guests, I greet you all. Honourable Speaker, I am here to present the consideration of the report on 2024-2025 budget vote number 14. Speaker, allow me to provide a brief overview of the report. Our report consists of 4 programs: administration, cultural affairs, library and archive services, sport and recreation. Because of time allocated to us, Honourable Speaker, I will just go straight to our key findings and the key recommendations. On program 1, finding A, the budget for cultural affairs has been increased by 13,370,000 during the period under review. Recommendation Recommendation A, the department must provide the committee with a detailed plan to ensure the budget increase will be used effectively and efficiently. Finding B, the budget, deep again. All right. Finding B, the budget does not have a clear plan in place to ensure people with disabilities are catered for as suppliers of goods and services in projects and events hosted by the department. And recommendation B, the department must provide the committee with a clear plan to proper monitoring mechanisms to ensure people with disabilities are accommodated. Finding C, the budget for compensation of employees has increased by 8.8 million due to vacant funded posts. And recommendation C, the department must provide the committee with a recruitment plan with a turnaround time to ensure all vacant posts are all filled as a matter of great agents. Program 2, finding 1, the budget for cultural affairs has been increased by 13.3 million during the period under review. And a recommendation, the budget must provide the department must provide the committee with a plan to ensure the budget will be used effectively and efficiently. Finding B, the budget of management subcommittee has been cut by 6.072 million during the year under review. And the recommendation, the department must present to the committee with an explanation with a clear plan on how it will achieve its targets, given 6 million cuts in its budget. And finding D, the department will refurbish Stegstrom Museum to the tune of 2.2 million and Somerset Museum at a cost of 3 million during the year under review. A recommendation, the department must provide the committee with a clear refurbishment plan for each of the 2 museums institution with timeframes and proper monitoring mechanisms for the completion of the said projects. On program number 3, finding C, I think I've stated the Honorable Speaker that I will just go straight to the key findings. Finding number C, the department has set aside 4.5 million for the procurement of locally produced library material during the year under review. Recommendation, the department must provide the committee with a clear and specific plan to ensure the budget to procure library material will be used to benefit small business, particularly those run and managed by women and people with disabilities. Finding C, the department during the year under review will build Ndabankulu Library to the tune of 13 million and Ingoza Hill to the tune of 1.4 million. A recommendation, the department must provide the committee with a project plan available and clear time frames. Finding CE, the department will also renovate Yugi Library ngemali engange 1.3 million. Nyase person ngemali engange 100,000. Fingo Library at 1.4 million during the year under review. Recommendation E, the department must provide the committee with a project plan available with a project plan, available budget with a proper monitoring mechanisms to ensure the renovation of these 2 libraries are completed within set time frames. Finding
Honourable Member, please note you have 2 minutes remaining.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. On our conclusion, the Portfolio Committee on Sport, Recreation, Arts and Culture wishes to express its gratitude to the MEC and officials of the department for their cooperation during the budget vote meetings. I hereby table the report for consideration, Honourable Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Are there any clarities by the committee? Any clarities for the MEC, by the MEC? Can we then call upon Honourable Miller from the DA? Your 9 minutes starts now.
Morning, Honourable Speaker, Honourable Premier, and Honourable Members in the House. We gathered today to discuss more than just figures on a spreadsheet. We are here to debate the investment in the soul of our province. Sport, recreation, arts and culture are not simply luxuries, but essential components of a thriving society. It shapes our identity, unites our communities, and provides opportunities for our youth to excel. Let us remember that we are allocating resources to the dreams and aspirations of our people, not just to the programs. The overall budget increase of 4.1% of the department is a positive step forward, but we must ensure that these funds are effectively used to the benefit of all the people in the Eastern Cape. The increased allocation in library and archive services of 8.3% is commendable. The commitment by the department to refurbish museums and art centres is a positive step, as it's crucial for preserving our heritage and fostering creativity. The increased budget of school sport by 7.2% recognises the importance in promoting physical fitness and healthy lifestyles amongst our youth. However, we have some serious concerns here. The budget cut in cultural affairs management of 6 million, the significant reduction raises concerns about the department's ability to effectively manage its cultural affairs programs. The budget for archive services has been cut by 3.3 million. This decrease could potentially hamper the efforts to preserve our historical records and make them accessible to the public. The machinery and equipment budget has been drastically reduced from 1.1 to 250,000 rand. This cut will hinder the department's ability to provide and maintain essential equipment for sports and recreational activities. The department fails to address the needs for the inclusive economic opportunities by not having a clear plan in place to ensure that people with disabilities can be catered for as suppliers for goods and services in projects and events hosted by the department. While 2 million rand has been set aside under Programme 1 for the EPWP program, there's a lack of clarity on how many job opportunities this will create. Considering our Premier's emphasis on job creation in the State of the Province address, we need more concrete plans in place. The Democratic Alliance cannot wholeheartedly endorse this budget in its current form. With key adjustments, we can refine this budget to better serve the diverse needs of all Eastern Cape residents. Honourable Speaker, our goal is not opposition for the own sake of being in opposition, but to work together towards a department that truly enriches the lives and creates opportunity in every corner of our beautiful province. Now we want to offer some suggestions towards the budget. Heritage preservation. Our cultural heritage is the cornerstone of our identity as a province. We propose the development of a comprehensive heritage preservation plan and also securing of dedicated funding for this. Including our communities and stakeholders in these initiatives through public participation is always key to the success of any project. Library services. We are duty-bound to offer accessible and diverse resources and programs to all our people in the province. We must expand on our digital resources and services where possible. It is crucial for us to develop good working relationships between the local municipalities and the department. By rebuilding these relationships, we can address the concerns quickly and efficiently, making sure our libraries remain vibrant centers of learning and for community engagement. Honourable Speaker, we need to implement policies that encourage bids from diverse suppliers, provide training on inclusivity and regular review of our procurement practices to eliminate any form of biasness. The principle of an open opportunity society for all will assist greatly in developing transparency and procurement processes. By opening up opportunities, we will only ensure fairness, but will also drive innovation and competitiveness in our province and for our economy. Then, Honourable Speaker, close to your heart, sport development. I'm sure this House will agree with me that we want to see more homegrown players to follow in the footsteps of our players such as Siya Kolisi, Makazolo Mpimpi, Jaden Hendricks, and Rassie Erasmus, and the list goes on. Madam Speaker, the Eastern Cape is known as the home of legends, but sadly, this is not entirely true. Our province could be better described as the birthplace of legends. Why do I say this? The harsh reality is that despite the immense potential of our sporting stars and others, these individuals have to leave our beautiful province to reach their full potential. It is our responsibility to live up to this title by promoting and supporting the growth of sport at all levels. We must focus on extensive sport development programs, supporting coaching and training initiatives, and creating structures for talent identification. But more, in addition, we need to have systems in place to ensure that our sport talent remains in our beautiful province. Honourable Speaker, then, we need to promote and assist sport amongst our women of all ages. Ensure that they receive the same opportunity and respect as men in the sporting arena. It is time that we host rugby and soccer at our big stadiums in Nelson Mandela Bay and, well, Buffalo City. We want to see our Kings in action again. We want to see our Chipper United in action again. Our department needs to assist these teams in overcoming their ongoing internal issues. Investing in sport, Honourable Speaker, is an investment in the health, unity and future success of our province. Honourable Speaker, while we appreciate the efforts made in this budget, the Democratic Alliance believe that with the adjustments and focus areas we've suggested, we could produce a budget that better serves the needs of all residents of this beautiful Eastern Cape province. Ten slotte, terwyl ons vorentoe beweeg, laat ons saamwerk om te verseker dat hierdie noodsaaklike dienste elke uithoek van die Oos-Kaap bereik, van ons bedrywige stede tot ons mees afgeleë plattelandse gebiede. Let us commit to working together as builders of a province. Every child has access to quality sporting facility, irrespective of his or her background, where our rich and diverse cultural heritage is celebrated and protected, and where the arts blossom as a source of creativity, expression, and economic opportunity. The challenges we are faced, Honourable Speaker, is sizable, but not impossible to overcome. Honourable Speaker, I want to end off. We don't want to give the MEC and the department the red card today, but we will rather give the department and the MEC a yellow card for your budget. But I request the MEC and the department to consider our input and our proposals. As we feel, and we strongly stand by it, we can turn this budget into a powerful tool for positive change for our province. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. I call upon Honourable Chocho from the EFF. Your 5 minutes starts now, Honourable Member.
Enkosi, Honourable Speaker, ndibulise kubo bonke abahlonipheki abalapha, ndibulise ii-guests zethu ezikwigalari, ndiyabona ne-future leaders zethu zisijoyina ngoku. Ndibulisa i-EFF caucus esikhokhelwe kuyo ngu-Honourable Mlokoti. Honourable Speaker, today I rise with deep frustration to respond to the budget allocation for the Department of Sport, Recreation, Arts and Culture. Let it be clear, kwasekuqaleni, that EFF reject this budget vote. This is not rejection for the sake of opposition, but a rejection grounded in the outright failure of this department to meet the need of the people it claimed to serve. This department mandate, according to its own mission, is to develop and promote sport, recreation, and arts and culture for uplift of the people of South Africa, of Eastern Cape, but what it does today instead. The committee, although very important, it is by the way committee in this legislature, whose role seems to just almost Mhlaba and renovating museums. Our children's potential in sport and the arts lies dormant, abandoned by the government that claims to care. The creativity and cultural industry in this province has been rendered non-existent, with politicians make all decisions and ignoring the cries of those in the sector. In various parts of this province, millions of rands has been poured into so-called sport ground that look more like patches of grass where children play poppies and cattle graze. There is no consequences for corruption and failure to account. This budget makes no real provision for the development of sport and creative art in our schools. Not all children will become doctors and engineers. Where is the plan to nurture our next sporting champions? Bantwana bakazile. Our champion of our future performers. With this budget, the dreams of potential Olympic gold medalists from our province are being buried alive. The dreams of Eastern Cape performers and creative have been buried alive, such that Eastern Cape artists have to leave this province.
Honourable
to
Member,
thrive.
you have 2 minutes remaining.
We have Rolly Nikki, the producer of ETV drama, seasoned actors like Zolisa Kaluva, Nambi Tampumlwana, Sisayena, and a lot of seasoned producers. Actors who will give the necessary support could happily assist in developing the Eastern Cape to be what Josie is in drama, film, and theatre. Coming to the province support for music, ningasixeleli ngokubandakanyeka kwesebe emculweni lwekwayara, sithetha ngomculo wengqungqo nomteyo. We praise Maxhosa as an international brand today, but do we think the brand would have been where it is if it has been solely dependent on this province? It is with a notable regret and dismay to know that this work has failed Mr. Bonginkosi Zola 7 Dlamini and Mr. Dlulane of Ikwezi by organizing resources to have a public library, by not developing the library to the only library in the community, to have amenities like Wi-Fi and digital system to help learners in that areas. Instead, the money that was fundraised by Zola, who asked for donation from different business people and companies, was looted and resulting to have that tiny corner house called library. Our youth, our talent, and our future are being sacrificed on the altar of incompetence. This is an insult to every person who has been denied access to proper sport facilities, to every community that has been left without support, and to every artist and creative who
your 5 minutes has expired. Thank you
we
so much,
reject
Honourable
this
Member.
budget vote
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. Thank you. Honourable Member, your time is up. Thank you, Honourable Member. Thank you. From the PA, we call Honourable Buya. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Enkosi, Honourable Speaker. Ndiqale ndibulise kuwe somlomo walendlu. Ndibulise ku Premier. Ndibulise naye umuntu lapha ngaphakathi onomngqusho phaa kwigalari molweni nifike kakuhle ngoba kuthethwa ngento echaphazela nina apha and ke le department, Honorable Speaker, is not just any department. It's a department that is in my blood. As I am standing here, I'm still a member of Barcelona United of Gqeberha, over 35. I'm still playing. I've got my own academy. I've got all those sizes in my academy. I started in 2018. I've got girls, I've got boys that are playing football. I've got an 8-year-old boy. I've got a 13-year-old girl that are playing football as we are speaking. I am staying in the area where this department is supposed to accommodate in all aspects of the codes. Whether it's art, we've got, because pasine pa zokuzalwa. Sinabanqweli pa. Nongakunqwelela eliplanga khuphe lenye into ongayaziyo. So andizokwazi ukuba mde Honorable Speaker, because for me it touches me too much. But silapha nje silapha for uzothi siyayisupporta ibudget, siyayifunda ukuba imali ihambe yokwenza izinto ekufanele kanti iyazenza. Into ekhoyo ngokufuneka kulungiswe. We need i-damage khona, we need to rectify, we need to do the damage control. Nazi into efunekayo ngoku. Honorable Speaker, let me leave before the time ends. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. Thank you. Honorable Member, as we are waiting for the ANC, Honorable Mankashle to come up, let us acknowledge the educators with the learners from Ellis Primary. They have joined us in the gallery. Can you all stand up so we can see these young learners that have come here to join us today with their educators? Kosi, thank you so much. So please put your best foot forward. Over to you, Honorable Member. You have your 14 minutes starting now.
Okay. Honorable Speaker, ndivumele ndibulise kubo bonke abantu abakhona kule ndibano yendlu yowiso-mthetho yephondo namhlanje. Ingakumbi inkulumbuso yephondo, amalungu abekekileyo, amagosa karhulumente, uluntu lonke olukhona kule ndawo kanye nabafundi abagqiba kufika netitshala. Honorable Speaker, the African National Congress welcomes and supports the report tabled by the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Honorable Tumegagaya. As we engage in this debate, we would like to state it categorically clear that we refuse to engage in accusation and counter-accusation that may have arisen during the processing of the budget vote of the department until issues of concern are presented to us in a proper manner and are accompanied by supporting documents. We therefore support the budget vote as tabled by the department, and any outstanding matter shall be dealt with by the Portfolio Committee in due course without fear or favor. Honorable Speaker, a new Portfolio Committee we have inherited as a department whose management and governance structure are intact. And this view is based on audit outcomes and performance targets achieved by the department in the recent past. We have also inherited a portfolio committee that's robust, daring and supportive at the same. This paints a picture that we would like to keep as the African National Congress, and thus we call upon the department and our counterparts in the committee to do the same. In doing so, not only this department, but all departments must move with speed in finalizing the vetting process and apply consequence management to those who are not following the proper procurement processes and procedures. The African National Congress prides itself on the role it has played in preserving and promoting national heritage. As such, we note and salute the centenary of the birth of Professor Robert Sobukwe, the former Pan-Africanist Congress president, who was persecuted to death by the apartheid regime. We also note and acknowledge the 60th anniversary of the execution of Comrade Vuyisile Mini, Wilson Kayingo, and Znakile Mhlaba by the same. These are gallant fighters who laid down their lives so that today we may be free from colonial and apartheid bondages of the past. The wars of resistance, as epitomized by the 190th anniversary of the 6th War of Resistance, laid firm foundation for us to never betray the cause of freedom through poor governance and administration. In line with ANC's mission of affirming and mainstreaming the designated and vulnerable groups of our society, the sign language promotion and development must continue to enjoy our overall support, including encouraging writers to produce academic and non-academic books in sign language. The role of libraries as repositories of human thoughts in the form of academic and non-academic books is well documented and needs to further emphasis. We believe that libraries are providing a helping hand in the promotion of the culture of reading and writing. As such, we encourage citizens of the province to utilize the newly built and refurbished libraries to the maximum extent possible. The modular libraries provided by the department are key in reaching out to a wider consumer base, especially in rural areas. We are especially impressed with the ebooks project of the department, as we believe that it will expand access and reach to its beneficiaries. The archaic nature of the provincial archives is matter that the department must be caused with, as archives are key in collecting public and private records for preservation and utilization. The digitization program of the Department of Archive records will go a long way in elevating the state of the provincial archives that we have mentioned. The oral history project must be supported and must include the recording of the highs and the lows of our liberation struggle before many of our veterans depart this world. This, of necessity, should include practitioners in this area being developed in the form of capacity building programs. Sport serves as a base for the development of local talents that may mature into national and international level. Consequently, we note and appreciate the support provided by the department to sport clubs in the form of equipment and development programs. The Eastern Cape Sport Confederation has an unenviable task of promoting and developing sport in the province with the support provided by the department. The Confederation must adhere to the accountability measures that have been set, and the department must effect consequence management whenever deviation are noted. We are indeed happy about the support that department is lending to women's sport development programs, more especially in non-traditional sporting codes. The Eastern Cape Academy of Sport's role in providing services for athletes, coaches, officials, and administrators so that athletes may, as part of the Heritage Month, we are quite happy about the role that the department has played in the program of the repatriation and reburial of the remains of freedom fighters who fell in foreign lands in the course of their fight against national oppression. Honorable Speaker, I am told and believe that national symbols play a crucial role in promoting our values, beliefs, and traditions. Informed by the fact that there's little awareness of the national symbols and orders, I call upon all of us to support the department's program aimed at raising awareness about our national symbols. Yes, last year we have seen people were burning the flag of South Africa. We call upon those people. We are further saying that this awareness program must be widespread in scale and rich, because indeed knowledge of our national symbols is scanty, not only to us, but to many of the citizens of the country. The support provided by the department to heritage institutions is crucial and appreciated by all of us involved in the transformation of the heritage landscape in the country in line with our past and imminent future. It goes without saying that the department must continue growing its own timber through the support it is providing to artists, arts and cultural institutions. We believe, Honorable Speaker, that the arts and culture community have pivotal role to play in changing perceptions and reimagining a common and cohesive future. Museums play a crucial role in collecting, interpreting, and exhibiting national artifacts with the aim of educating the public. Scholars in this area agree. Reasonable steps must be taken to protect artifacts and or objects housed in museums around the province against environmental conditions, use and natural decay. The constant refurbishment programs of museums by department in the province are noted and appreciated, and they must continue without fail or delay. We are quite elated about the program of the department to develop and promote the use of indigenous languages with a particular focus on the San and the Khoi language speakers. These are arguably the First Nations of our country whose languages deserve national recognition and preservation. We encourage the department to reach beyond the Khoisan language speakers in its promotion of this language as part of its mission to promote multilingual.
Honourable Member, you have 2 minutes remaining.
Okay. All right, Speaker. compete at an elite level in worthy of our praise. This work must continue as specialized intervention programs are far and few in between, especially in our townships and rural areas. Schoolport is key to unearthing and developing raw talent at tender age of school-going learners. I am not sure what happened, but there seems to be a lack of sport activities in most of the townships and rural schools in the province. This is a matter that we wish this department and the Department of Education must address with a view to finding lasting solutions to it. The Department of Health should also not stand by as an unconcerned bystander as the consequences of lack of physical training for learners has a direct bearing on the health services that it is providing. The promotion of indigenous games by the department is also a great marvel to many of us, as they have been neglected by many authorities before. The support must continue with a view to upscale them through concerted promotion and marketing efforts. We need to know who the champs of stick fighting, Jackskei or Uputa in the province are. I am sure
Thank you, Honourable
that
Member. Your time is expired.
give sense of
Thank you, Honourable
pride.
Member. Thank you, Honourable Member.
Honourable Speaker, the African National Congress
Honourable
support
Member,
the report
your time is
as
expired.
tabled.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We call upon the MEC, Honourable Consiwe. Your time starts now, 10 minutes.
Thank you so much, Honourable Speaker. Greetings to you, the Honourable Premier, the members of the Executive Council, the members, the Chief Whip of the Majority Party, and all the members of this legislature. Good morning. Yeah. Inkosi kakhulu. Ndiyacama ukusha. Honourable Speaker, it is now 12 days into Heritage Month. It is a month that is set aside all of us to celebrate amasiko nezithethe zethu kunye nenkcubeko yethu. Yiloo nto sikhuthaza wonke umuntu ukuba makayazi imvelaphi yakhe. For we know isizwe esingazaziyo apho sisuka khona kusekuhleni ukuba singazazi apho siya khona. Kubalulekile ke ukuba sikwenze oku kuba kaloku sinembali yokuba sasoloko sajongelwa phansi. Somlomo, le mbali ibeka uxanduva kuthi sonke lokuba sifundise abantu bakuthi ngokuzingca ngobuntu babo kunye nendlela yabo yokwenza izinto. Masibuyeleni embo. Honourable Speaker, not only do we have such a past forefathers of those who keep telling us about their racist Western Cape would have preferred that we look down on our practices. They would have us believe that we were better if we spoke their own language. We wore their suits and acted like they did, outrightly said. Our colonizers wanted us to despise all that is what we are. It is not a coincidence that they will keep referring to Western Cape. It is that very Western Cape that they began to commit all the atrocities that they committed over the 100 years. It is in that very Western Cape, Honourable Speaker, that they consolidated their racist and segregationist policies. Today, they are unashamedly want to use that part of the world as a reference point for all of us. Inene abanantloni kwaye bazilibele, and will refuse to be subjected to that.
On a point of order, Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Speaker, we have already taught them democracy.
Just hold on, Honourable MEC. Yes, Honourable Kasim.
I really do apologize.
On what rule are you rising, Honourable Kasim?
On the rule that relates to relevance. Honorable Speaker. I'm just trying to find the rule name, but I'm allowed to quote the principle.
What relevance are you raising?
On the relevance of this diatribe about supposed, I don't know who the
Can you
Honorable
sit down,
MECs
Honorable
No,
Kasim?
it's not relevant to the budget vote.
No.
Can you please rule on the matter, Honorable Speaker?
No, Honorable Kasim. Can you
I'd
please
like
sit
you
down?
to please rule on the matter,
Can you
Honorable
please
Speaker.
sit down, Honorable Kasim? Can you please sit down?
Honorable Speaker.
Can the MEC please continue?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, 47 years ago, Steve Bantubiko was brutally murdered by the apartheid regime. He's amongst one of our sons and daughters that paid the ultimate sacrifice for freedoms that we enjoy today. To this day, his immense contribution towards transformed higher education sector and broadly the entire education system remains a source of inspiration for all of us. We remain committed to working towards a transformed education system. In line with this commitment, we recently celebrated International Library Day. It is a day dedicated to all efforts aimed at creating a literal society. This informed by belief that education is everyone's birthright.
On a point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Like theirs.
Yes, on what is your point of order? On what rule are you raising?
My first one is on Rule 101. On this one, it's on Rule 97, subsection 2, Honorable Speaker, which states that after a point of order has been stated to the presiding officer, which is yourself, by the member raising it, the presiding officer shall give his or her ruling thereon. You have not given us a ruling, Honorable Speaker. You've just asked us to sit down without giving a ruling.
You are out of order. Sit down. Even now, Honorable Member, you are not raising. Honorable Member.
Honorable Speaker, you are held by the same rules that we are.
Honorable Member, sit down. You are not raising anything of relevance here. You are not raising anything of relevance. The MEC is closing the debate.
So make a ruling.
The MEC is closing the debate. You are out of order. Sit down, please.
On what? I'm asking for a ruling, Honorable Speaker. That's all.
Out
As
of
per
order.
the rules,
Sit
you
down.
have to give a ruling.
You are out of order. You are not raising anything of relevance.
On what rule am I out of order, Honorable Speaker?
You are out of order, Honorable Member. Sit down, please.
On what rule?
Sit down, Honorable Member. Thank you. Sit down, Honorable Member. Sit down, Honorable Member. May I please appeal to members? If you want to ask a question, you cannot at the point because you feel uncomfortable with issues that the members who are at the podium are debating. Now you want to raise it as an issue of irrelevance. Honorable Member, you are being very, very disrespectful at this particular point in time. You are being disrespectful at this particular point in time. I am at the podium and I am speaking and you are continuing being disrespectful. You are out of order, you are irrelevant. May you please continue, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Like theirs, our blood remains red. It is because of this that we should reject any attempt by lumpens squandering in red overalls as representatives of our people. Their blood remains in a constant reminder of the price we paid for the democratic South Africa. It is this reminder that should propel us into always doing more and better. Madam Speaker, in this month alone, we are to repatriate about 8 struggle heroes and heroines. These are heroes and heroines whose mortal remains were buried in Zambia and Zimbabwe because of the conditions of the country. The return of their mortal remains is a realization of a commitment made by President Owar Tambo at their funeral. Singaba asiwenzanga wonke umsebenzi wethu xa singawukhalimeli lo mkhwa ubonakala ugquba kulangingqi yaseWar Tambo. Sinoxanduva lokuhlaba ikhwelo kuluntu lonke sitsho sonke ngazunye sithi phansi ngeprotection fee phansi. We call upon all law enforcement agencies to leave no stone unturned in uprooting such scams from our communities. Equally, our communities working together with civil society organizations must rebuke these thugs and not provide places for them to hide. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, we must express our appreciation for the diligent work that has been done by the Portfolio Committee. It is a major aspect of our work that we place much value on. Through their insightful work, we can only become better in carrying out our mandate. As intended, that can only be the benefit of our communities and the people of the Eastern Cape. Honorable Speaker and members, we acknowledge and accept both findings and recommendations of the Portfolio Committee. The department will respond fully within the period we have been allocated. However, we would like to assure the honorable members of the House that the plans are already afoot to address all these issues and are raised in the report. Just as we highlighted in the policy speech, we value and appreciate the contribution made by all of our communities. This is inclusive of people living with disability. We're in the process of completing an inclusive plan, and this will be reflected in the submissions that we'll make. Sadly, Honorable Speaker, we recently lost one of our torchbearers in the province, Jessica Mbangeni. Jessica Mbangeni was larger-than-life personality who was the truest extension and representative of the arts, culture, and heritage in our country. Her passion as an ambassador of our sector was a joy to witness. Ms. Mbangeni was a recipient, among other recognizable awards and accolades, of the Eastern Cape Arts and Culture Embassy Recognition Awards. Honorable Speaker and members, we must invite all those in the House to join us in the festivities that we are to continue celebrating our Heritage Month. Masingabisabuyela umva kweliphulo kuba sifuneka sizince ngobuntu bethu. Ndiyabulela kakhulu. Enkosi.
Thank you so much, MEC. Honorable members, I put the report. Any objections? I will ask the Secretary to read the second order of the day.
Consideration of report of Portfolio Committee on... Sorry, Speaker. What was this?
Community safety.
Yeah. Consideration of vote number 15, Community Safety Appropriation Bill 2024.
Thank you. I call upon Honorable Gaya. Your 10 minutes starts now.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow us to present the consideration of reports on 2024-2025 budget vote number 15 on behalf of community safety. Honorable Speaker, I will again go straight to our key findings and the key recommendations. Finding 1 on program 1. This program received an allocation of 68 million in the 2024-2025 financial year, which amounts an increase of 5 million from previous financial year and represents 8.1 million. Recommendation. The department must ensure that all funds allocated to this program are optimally utilized and properly accounted for. Finding B, the department received 16 million from Provincial Treasurer for its reviewed organogram. That resulted in establishment of third program, which must be still be submitted to the Department of Public Service and Administration for consideration. Recommendation B, the department must ensure that it should provide Department of Public Service and Administration with its organogram for consideration. Finding C, the department is in the process of upgrading its outdated ICT infrastructure. to increase the protection of its information. Finding recommendation C, the department must proceed with the upgrading of its ICT infrastructure and provide the committee with a regular progress report. Finding D, the department has 6 vacancies, with 2 of them at senior management, which increases the workload on other employees and results in burnouts. Finding C, recommendation D, the department must ensure that all its vacant posts are swiftly filled to avoid overloads on the employed personnel. Program 2, finding A, the program is allocated a budget of 76 million in the 2024-2025 financial year, which amounts an increase of 15 million from revised estimated of 2023-2024 financial year. Finding recommendation A, the department must ensure that all funds for this program are utilized and for their intended purpose. Finding B, the department is continuing with its efforts through the provincial cabinet to get funding for the CPF stipends. The department must proceed with such efforts to get funding to stipends of CPFs and provide the committee with regular progress report. Finding C, in the period under review, the expanded public works program incentive grant for the province has been reinstated, and this will be committed to add safety patrollers in 15 schools. Recommendation C, the department must ensure that schools with high rate of crime are included in this program, and close monitoring on selection or appointments of those safety patrollers. Finding D, the department is pursuing efforts to get soldiers deployed to combat upsurge that the province is experiencing in extortions that demand protection fees. Recommendation D, the national minister and national commissioner must ensure that the department is assisted on its effort to get soldiers deployed in our province. Finding E, the province has recently been hit with several cash in transit hikes due to poor intelligence services. Recommendation E, the department must engage Eastern Cape SAPS on addressing the poor condition of intelligence services as a matter of urgency. Finding F, the department is continuing with the provision of victim-friendly rooms in all police stations, and currently only 162 out of 199 police stations have these facilities. Recommendation F, the department must proceed with provision of victim-friendly rooms until all police stations have these services. General findings. Finding 1, the department recorded 10 unqualified opinions over the years. Recommendation, the political and administrative leadership of the department is commended for such performance and must continue with it. General finding number 2, the lack of quality assurance resulted in the department submitting documents of poor quality, and some of the information is repetitive. Recommendation B, the department must improve the quality of information it submits to the committee by ensuring that such information is quality assured. Number 3, the overall budget allocated to the department amounts to 144 million, and is deemed to be insufficient to execute the expanded mandate of the department. General recommendation 3, the department must utilize all funds effectively and efficiently while continuing motivating for more funds from the Department of Provincial Treasury. Honorable Speaker, I hereby table the report for consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. Are there any clarities for the committee? Any clarities for the MEC? None. We then call upon the DA, Honourable Kasim. Your 9 minutes starts now.
Honourable Speaker, fellow South Africans, I greet you with the universal greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Honourable Speaker, ours is a province under siege. As per the latest quarterly crime stats, our province recorded 1,169 murders during the 3-month period between April and June of this year. This equates to 13 of our people being murdered every single day. The irony is that whilst gangsters and extortionists continue to operate with impunity, law-abiding citizens in many communities in our province, like those in my constituency in the northern areas of Gqeberha, are often confined like prisoners in their own homes. But even this has not kept them safe. On the 16th of April this year, just down the road from where I stay, 3-year-old Emilio Hutchinson had his tiny body riddled with bullets inside his own home in Pinar Street, Helenvale. On the 29th of June this year, 23-year-old Charlene Malchus was shot several times in her parents' home in Venus Street, Helenvale. Charlene, Honourable Premier, was 37 weeks pregnant. The DA has long maintained that this is an abnormal situation which requires priority intervention. The DA's and the community's demands included the deployment of the National Intervention Unit, deploying the best detectives from across the country, doubling the anti-gang unit, which has to now operate in both the South Apartment District and Nelson Mandela Bay, strengthening crime intelligence, increasing police visibility, and implementing crime-fighting technology such as drones, CCTV cameras, and shot-spotter technology without delay. These demands were also made within the context of a report prepared by the Mexican Council of Public Security and Criminal Justice, which ranked Nelson Mandela Bay, which suffered 78.33 murders per 100,000 people in 2023, in the top 10 most dangerous cities in the world and the most dangerous city in South Africa. At the time, absolutely no action was taken by the then National Police Minister Bheki Cele, who himself failed to even respond to the petition submitted by the community of the northern areas in this respect. To his credit, our own MEC Ngata implemented the motion tabled by myself, which was adopted by this House, in hosting a crime and safety summit in the northern areas. However, to the Honourable Ngata, the community is still waiting for the resolutions of the summit to be published and for promises that were made to be fulfilled. One of those promises that our MEC made at the summit was for his department to employ 50 safety patrollers in the northern areas as part of his department's Community Safety Brigade program. Currently, there are 99 patrollers currently employed in Nelson Mandela Bay, and these are employed in New Brighton, Kwadwesi, and Motherwell. Not employing a single one in the whole of the northern areas and the whole of Kariga remains a daily insult to our people. Our lives matter too. We do welcome, Honourable Premier, that with the Government of National Unity, it has also brought a new police minister who has heard our cries and taken an interest in our province. This is indeed a positive step. The NIU and the TRT has since been deployed to NMB, and a crime intelligence head has been seconded to our province. However, Honourable Premier, through you, Honourable Speaker, this doesn't go far enough for our province. The anti-gang unit remains understaffed and outgunned, and we still require the deployment of our nation's best detectives together with additional resources to our province from SAPS. The so-called additional 300 boots on the ground announced by the National Minister are not additional at all, as this is just part of NMB's annual SAPS recruitment allocation. It's not an additional allocation. And the additional 300 officers that the National Minister announced to the media that would come from the province and the metro are not budgeted for at all. The contract for ShotSpotter in Nelson Mandela Bay lapsed in September last year and is still in the process of renewal. During this period since September last year, 221 people in the northern areas have been killed through gang violence. Lives that could have been saved had gun violence not flared up again after ShotSpotter was not renewed. To our Honourable MEC, more is needed from SAPS. We're not fighting with the MEC. We want the MEC to fight for us more vigorously. I implore you, MEC, to fight for our province in this regard. I've also received confirmation from the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Police in the National Assembly, the Honourable Ian Cameron, that his parliamentary committee will also visit Nelson Mandela Bay to assist in ensuring that these demands are still remain a priority demand. In this context and in all of this mayhem, one would also expect that the budget for community safety in our province would be increased to enable our province to do its part. Unfortunately, this department, community safety, has only been allocated a measly 144.84 million rand. That equates to just 0.15% of the total provincial expenditure. And to the Honourable Mvoko, unless we budget adequately for the Honourable Ngata's department, he will not be able to do our part as a province in terms of the fight ahead of us. This has also been reflected in the Budget and Money Bills Committee report that will serve later before this House. Unless we put our money where our mouths are as a province, we will not be able to invest in making our own contribution to adding resourced boots on the ground and empowering the fight against our crisis of criminality with the types of technology needed to beat the criminals. Our neighbours in the DA-governed Western Cape has actually resourced their community safety department at close to 1% of their provincial expenditure, spending more than 5 times than what our province is planning to do. This has enabled the Western Cape to implement ShotSpotter technology without interruption in gang-affected suburbs. They've also partnered with the City of Cape Town in deploying a state-of-the-art eye-in-the-sky information, surveillance and recon technology, which can fly higher than drones and are equipped with both HD and infrared cameras. This groundbreaking technology is deployed alongside other technologies such as drones, dash cams, body cams, gunshot detection, license plate recognition cameras, and EPIC, a master digital coordination system. The City of Cape Town alone is spending more just on safety technology than our entire province is spending on community safety. They've already spent more than 200 million rand in the current financial year. The Western Cape has also launched its own rural safety and K9 units in Swartland, Overstrand and Mossel Bay, which have made over 1,700 arrests. It has also employed its own law enforcement advancement plan, or LEAP, officers in 13 priority areas, along with a reaction unit, and this together has 1,300 provincial LEAP officers deployed. Since its inception in 2020, they have confiscated 564 firearms and made 28,200 arrests. As part of the DA's whole-of-society approach, CPFs in the Western Cape are being resourced with vehicles, torches, and reflective gear. Honourable Premier, let's imagine that our province can go further than slogans like shoot to kill. and actually deploy its own boots on the ground to assist the SAP's crime-fighting effort and deploy state-of-the-art crime-fighting technology such as those that are making a difference elsewhere. We can also deploy our own rural safety and K9 units and support our CPFs and our patrollers at a much bigger level than what we are doing currently. Now let's stop imagining this, Honourable Premier, and let's actually do it by ensuring that this committee or this department receives the budget that is needed in this abnormal times that we are confronted with. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. We call upon the EFF, Honourable Chocho. Your 5 minutes starts now, Honourable Member.
Enkosi Honourable Speaker, niphinde ndibulise kwindlu yokwisomthetho. Okokuqala, Honourable Speaker, maniqale ndithi olu hlahlo lwabiwo-mali si-EFF asilwamkeli kwaphela. Apha ephondweni sitshotsha entla ngolwaphulo-mthetho ingakumbi phaya ekuhlaleni kwaye kunezigigaba ezininzi ezingaxelwayo okanye kumangalwe ngazo emapoliseni kuba abantu beliphondo bebona kuyinkcitha xesha kuba amapolisa abawathathi manyathelo xa kumangelwe. Yinto leyo kufuneka ilungisiwe kuba sizohlala sicinga ukuba izinto zolwaphulo-mthetho, izinga lolwaphulo-mthetho lehlile kanti abantu bahlelwe lithemba kwinkonzo yozokhuseleko. Sihlalo, kolu hlahlo lwabilo-mali ngokusingiselele kukhuseleko lwasemakhaya kukho amakhwiniba esiwaqapheleyo siyi-EFF. It is both insufficient and out of touch with the harsh reality that plagues the Eastern Cape. Mandini Kumbuz, the Eastern Cape holds the disgraceful distinction of being one of the most violent provinces in South Africa. 5 of our towns rank amongst top 30 cities with the highest per capita murder rate in the country. In 2022-2023, we topped the chart with the highest per capita murder rate, even excel provinces like KwaZulu-Natal, which have been associated with the highest level of crime. It is the story of life lost, of family members shattered, of community living in perpetual fear, and yet the budget we are presenting today does nothing to address this stark reality. The alarming crime rates in the province are no accident, but are direct results of decades of poor governance, poor planning, and negligent budget allocation like the one before us today. Our province has recently been at the forefront of national news, not for growth, progress, or innovation, but the vile and heartless violence crime by extortion gangs that has turned our community into places of terror. Kanditina silipondo elinjani, where criminals harass and threaten to kill the most vulnerable amongst us, the deaf, the blind, teachers, and caregivers. What does it say about a government when its town make national headlines for the inhuman, heartless violence that has turned everyday life into a nightmare? What are the practical steps undertaken by this government and explicitly shown in this budget vote that indicate that this government is serious about uprooting crime in our society? Will the nurse who was robbed in his belonging in Fada, the staff of the principal, and the principal of the same school go to school with a high sense of relief and confirmation that they will be not victims of crime and at work or harassed by extortion gangs. Saka nhloboni yesizwe apho abantu bathi bejongene nesimnyama sokuzilela amalungu angasekhoyo and also deal with the trauma of being kidnapped for funeral policy money or the possibility of such a kidnapping on the other. Inkulumbuso xa yayivula elibhunga kwinyanga ephelileyo kwintetho yayo yonyusa amathemba angekhoyo ithetha ngebhongo ngenzame to capacitate communist police forum, but this budget makes no provision for the critical increase and regulation of stipend for those brave men and women risking their lives daily. Lama volunteer abeka ubomi babo esichengeni bedela izaqhwithi nemvula bekhusela uluntu, yet this government turns
its back on them, why there is no mention of funding to ensure their stipends are regular and sufficient. Furthermore, while the Premier touched on safety patrols in schools, this budget once again take a dangerous one-size-fits-all approach. High-risk school and gang-invested areas can be treated the same as those in safer environment. There is no specific program targeting high-risk school. Where is the targeted intervention, the close monitoring of safety patrollers, and the prioritization of areas where our children are most vulnerable? We, the economic freedom fighters, reject this budget. We reject a government that continues to prioritize optic over substance, that cares more about PR than protecting its people. We demand a budget that reflects the agents of the crisis we are facing and provide a really concrete solution, not just empty promises. This province deserves better and will not rest until it gets it. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Call upon the PA, Honourable Buya. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Enkosi Somlo. Siphethe ububucayi apha. Lo ngumba onzima kakhulu. Ngoba apha sithetha ngezokhuseleko. And ke because le department sithetha ngayo ichaphazela thina kanye phe groundini. Because sihlala pha apha izinto zenzeka khona khoyo. Honorable Speaker, I'm here to say I am glad to support this budget. I am here to invite the MEC of Safety to make a provision with the ward councillors, because this thing is more there at the ground with the ward councillors. If the ward councillors and the ward committees of those portfolios are not given a mandate to do the work, then we will always saying these budgets are not working. Then it says in Ogba, we need to find a plan. We need to develop a plan that we will start and install the safety from the grassroots level, at schools, at the sports programs, at any programs that are within the communities. Then that plan must be submitted in the ward councillors' offices. And those programs must be make sure that it is implemented in each and every ward across this province. Without those plans and those systems in place, we will always cry about ezokhuseleko. Because I am here, Honorable Speaker, by saying these people that are committing all these gang violence or crimes and stuff, they are residing with us. And we know them. It's just that a matter of how do we work together to develop a system whereby it will not expose or jeopardize anyone's safety, so that we can root out all of this negative thing. So, Honorable Speaker, we as a PA, we are here to say we support this budget.
Thank you. Your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. We call upon the ANC, Honourable Vanku. Your 14 minutes starts now.
Honourable Speaker, Chief Whip of the African National Congress and of the Eastern Cape Legislature, honourable members of the Provincial Legislature, Premier and the Executive, head of various government institutions and senior officials, community members watching the House in various social media and platforms, I greet you all. I would like to express my gratitude for the opportunity granted to me by the African National Congress to address this House today. I must start by greeting and saluting the kings and queens of this country that fought gallant wars against the colonial subjugation of the peoples of this country by European settlers. In the same breath, we highly appreciate and applaud the achievements of our sporting teams that continue to make us proud, including the Paralympians. Economics 101 tells us when it's defined as satisfying unlimited needs with limited resources. As in those words, we accept this budget as the African National Congress. Honorable Speaker, it has been highlighted this is the month in which Steve Biko was killed by an apartheid regime, which was the first crime against humanity declared by the United Nations. I stand here 5 days after the anniversary of the Bisho massacre, where 28 people, peace-loving people of South African ANC supporters were killed by the surrogates of the apartheid regime. On that day, more than 200 people, including myself, were injured. The Bisho massacre stands as a stark reminder to us that this freedom wasn't free. When we come to this august house, we must remember that this freedom wasn't free. We went to the May 29th elections as the various parties with the hope of winning the elections and being the ruling party. And the people of this province has resoundingly affirmed the African National Congress as their home. Dear, I've been listening here in the last 3 days, the government being lambasted for the lack of development, forgetting that this province has been punished by various regimes, colonial regimes, for daring to resist colonialism for 100 years, from 1779 to 1879, which is recorded in history as the longest colonial war that the British fought in this country. We must remember colonization started with our people in the Western Cape, with the Khoi and the San people, who fought the first war in 1659 and the second war under Chief Konema in 1673. Nor did that only last. They dared to try and obliterate the Khoi and San people through a genocide, a biological genocide of the smallpox epidemic of 1713. Now, we sit here in this house and listen to achievements of the aspiring state of the United States of America, which is the Western Cape. Because of this formidable resistance, Honorable Premier, the Eastern Cape has been underdeveloped, highly underdeveloped. If you look at the towns of the Eastern Cape, they were created as posts of policing and monitoring the kings and queens of this country. If you look at the Eastern Cape, if you start from the Fish River to Umzimkhulu, it's full of villages because our people resisted colonialism and they were punished for that. You can look at all the towns that I'm talking about. The main thing that government developed there was magistrate courts. Allow me, Honorable Speaker, to outline the Marxist perspective on crime. The Marxist perspective on crime and deviance is grounded on the belief that society is divided into classes based on the ownership and control of resources. According to Marx, capitalist system perpetuates social inequality, leading to the emergence of crime and deviance as a response to the oppressive conditions faced by the working class. Marxists argue that crime and deviance are a direct result of capitalist mode of production. In a capitalist society, the pursuit of profit leads to the exploitation of the working class, creating conditions of poverty, inequality, and social alienation. These conditions, in turn, contribute to criminal behavior as individuals may resort to illegal means to survive and rebel against the oppressive system. This, in my view, Honorable Speaker, then calls for the intensification of the fight to do away with capitalism. Kodwa loo nto ayithi aba bahlawulwa kakuhle ngurhulumente mabamoshe. As a way to highlight the scourge of crime, GBV and femicide in our country in general and province in particular, allow me to quote Dr. Martin Luther King, who said, I quote, "History will have to record that the greatest tragedy of this period of social transition was not the stringent clamor of bad people, but the appalling silence of the good people. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. He who passively accepts evil is as much involved in it as he who helps to perpetuate it. He who accepts evil without protesting against it is really cooperating with it," close quote. Dr. Martin Luther King further highlights the linkage between development and crime prevention and combating. I quote, "There is nothing more dangerous than to build a society with a large segment of people in that society who feel that they have no stake in it, who feel that they have nothing to lose. People who have stake in their society protect that society. But when they don't have it, they unconsciously want to destroy it," close quote. This is in support of what Honorable Buya says, that we must mobilize our communities against crime. In my view, Madam Speaker, this indicates that crime is inversely proportionate to development. Phambili development to curb crime phambili. The speech Honorable Speaker has made a few days after 3 armed men, including a bogus chief, a bogus traditional leader, and an alleged extortionist, dared to go and face police at the NIU unit in Umtata. This is an indication that no one is safe. We have become a dysfunctional community. Our police officers work tirelessly to serve our communities. We must support that an attack on police should be treated as treason, as it is an attack on the state. The phenomenon of extortion is strange, in my view, in that it does not affect the taxi industry, which deals with cash every day. I've only had a case where extortionists have gone to a taxi rank and tried to get money from those people that have it readily. I should say I haven't had any cases that have been reported. Maybe it's gone. Eneneni indlu ebekekileyo wisomthetho lento inonyawo lwemfene. Okanye kukho imfene namanqinayo oyi-4. As the country celebrates 30 years of freedom and in respect of all martyrs of our country and the press scripts, Abunyan bakhablisa bakwazi komisa. Yani zama ndo zakuthi. Again, our people had the opportunity to go to free and fair elections and affirmed the African National Congress. I must also applaud the attitude of the opposition parties that really are putting their will their shoulder on the wheel to try and work with the African National Congress. For us to achieve socio-economic objectives of our province, we must have a solid foundation in place, which comprises of elements of safe and cohesive society and an honest and capable civil servants, that is the civil service that is beyond reproach. Loo nto ithetha ukuthi ke Honorable Speaker and Premier, we must devise ways on how we recruit police. We must devise ways on how we vet police on an ongoing basis. Because there's a growing element, which is kind of a change of roles. Nowadays, criminals are recruiting police instead of police recruiting criminals or infiltrating criminals. Police are supplying weapons to criminals instead of taking weapons from criminals, which is a phenomenon that must be dealt with harshly. Honorable Speaker and members, I want to call upon every citizen.
Honorable Member, you have 2 minutes remaining.
That we all own our civilian responsibility and organize our societies and report in support of the slogan of the department that says Musa ukuthula kusonakala. Siyazihalalisela ke zonke efforts ezenziwe department, including support to CPFs, the launch of the safety brigades. Eyona nto kumele siyikhalimele, Honorable Speaker, kule province is the armed robbery or armed stock robbery of our people, livestock robbery, where people's hard-earned livings zithathwa ngobusuku okanye emini ngezibhamu. Siyafuna ke Premier into kuba no MEC ni devise your own ways of getting Oscar or amanqatha-nqatha. Let's devise ways of beefing up our security in our society, including using the EPWP program effectively. See African National Congress, Honorable Speaker, and the House, we fully support this budget, albeit its limitations. Siyacela njengo Honorable Kasim uba yangezwe noko xa kukho ithuba lokuba yongezwe. Enkosi.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. Call upon the MEC, Honorable Ngata. Your 10 minutes starts now.
Thank you. Greetings, Honorable Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, and all office bearers of the House, the Chief Whip of the majority party and of the House, Honorable Premier and members of the Executive Council, honorable members, honorable members of the House, HODs, I want to have an lower matters. And all officials present, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, greetings. It is indeed a great honor and a privilege to stand before this august House to warmly welcome and receive this report from the members of the Portfolio Committee on Community Safety, Honorable Chair. As we welcome and receive this report, we would like to inform this august House that our concerted efforts of combating crime in this province are beginning to yield positive results. However, honorable members, Mhlaba remains the epicenter of acts of extortion and protection fees, and we have concentrated most of our efforts there to ensure that we deal decisively with the culprits. As the provincial government, we welcome the intervention by the Police Minister, Senzo Mchunu, to deploy additional capacity to our province to clamp down on extortionists and gangs, and particularly Mhlaba and Nelson Mandela Metro. The multidisciplinary team deployed in the province will prevent, combat, investigate, and arrest those behind incidents of gang violence and extortion. The NIU is working hard and currently conducting operations in Mhlaba West, and these operations are mainly driven by the intelligence unit and the specialized units such as the NIU, providing the necessary technical and physical strength to deal with the perpetrators of these crimes and those who have been and continue to terrorize our communities and businesses. Perhaps let me hasten to add, Honorable Speaker, when I will say that our work is is bearing results. Criminals can feel the heat. Only about 2 weeks ago, we had a meeting of all representatives of the leaders of the taxi industry in ICC, where I tabled the Bishop Siwa mediation report on the taxi violence. And I tabled a comprehensive implementation plan of his recommendation, and we had put the taxi industry into terms that within 14 days, they must make submissions on our intentions to implement the resolutions. To summarize, the first resolution is the dissolution of the provincial structure of Santaco, which is the body that governs taxi associations in the province, as it was found by the Commission to have been constituted wrongly, and that to be the source of the conflict. And we've invited them to make representation. We also said that they must make representation because in many provinces where there is relative stability in the industry, you don't have a border alliance or Uncedo taxi association. You don't have taxi ranks that belong to Uncedo taxi association. Taxi ranks belongs to municipalities. And therefore you have relative stability. So we put to them, they must give us reason why we cannot do away with the mother bodies, so that we have got the Maclear Taxi Association, the Dujua Taxi Association, with all of them belonging there. So those are some of the decisive measures to implement the report of the mediation panel, but to implement the peace accord. Those decisions are not going well. So we are not at loss that when then we're taking up this task, there will be smear campaigns against various individuals, including political leaders, including those in the administration, because we just hit at the heart of the challenge. So these smear campaigns will not divert us because we know what the meaning of them is. So no Premier, no myself is in extortion, but it's only that is aimed to divert us from the main task. We will not be diverted. We'll pursue this and we'll continue to corner them until we win this war. Honorable Chair, the NAU is decisively dealing with this present criminal, hence then this response, combined with all these things that we're doing. As we have to extend our special salute to the men and women in blue who are carrying out that work amid extreme intimidation and at times brazen attacks. And SAPS members have recently launched the extortion hotline to ensure that people have access. We continue to encourage our people to use our 24/7 extortion hotline, which it's 082-387-1561, which will continue so that we nab the perpetrators of these crimes. Honorable members of the Department of Community Safety has well-established government and administration systems which have led us to attain a clean audit outcome from AGSA for the 10th year now in a row. Those are the achievements of the department. And our fight against criminality is anchored on our flagship provincial safety strategy, which is indeed gaining momentum as I've outlined above, anchored on the theme Musa Ukuthula Kusonakala. And the strategy acknowledges the safety and security requirements, that security requires the whole of society approach, which is the point that Honorable Kasim, through you, Honorable Chair, claims now to be a DA approach. And is part of this strategy. But that is welcome. It does not worry us, that thing which you buy into it. We commend the ANC and its alliance partners and all those who have been involved in mass activities to fight against crime. Honorable members, Honorable Chocho, I fully agree with you, because this issue of CPFs, it's a big issue. It's not that they are being paid less, Honorable Member. They are not getting any stipend. And it's a burning issue. And that's why the cabinet did agree, in fact, in principle, that is a matter that both HOD for community safety and HOD provincial treasurer must look at. Because under these circumstances where, they are dealing with crime and they are getting no stipend, it's something that we're not going to ignore it perpetually, because other provinces are implementing it already. And so it's likely to be a disincentive, the fact that we are not doing it. And it's a matter that is on the table of cabinet.
Honourable MEC, you have 2 minutes remaining.
Honourable Kasim, thank you, Honourable Chair. We remain committed to implement those resolutions of the summit. And it's something that we are attending to it. The issue of, patrollers, you will be the first one to appreciate that that one of 99 was a pilot, so to speak. We are rolling out. The commitment of 50 in northern areas remains on the table. We'll implement it in this financial year, not in any other time. The issue of 1,000 police officers, you can't say it's not an addition. When you recruit 10,000 police officers, you send them to college in the country, you then deploy them. It's an addition to what you have. It might not be sufficient. And the 310 deployed to Gqeberha from that 1,000 of the province is an addition to what we have. It's not a minus. I don't know what kind of mathematics is that which you're counting. And that one is an addition. So there's no decision, Honorable Kasim, of a government position to shoot to kill. There's no such decision. There will not be that kind of decision. But criminals have become disdainful, have become brazen. They approach the police, and they are the one who pulls the trigger first. So what's the alternative? That's why the other members, exactly, Honorable Dr. Fig, should be the next action that you're taking. That's why we're saying, in line with these generals, that they say those who are complaining, they better go with the police when they go to cash in transit, be in the front, and then take a decision when to shoot. We are inviting them, let's go together to operation. I joined the operation this morning in Buffalo City. And so we invite honorable members. It's a reality that police have got to defend themselves. And those who pull the trigger, police must not hesitate. They must shoot. They must shoot, as they are trained to do that in defense of their own lives. Honorable Chair, honorable members, allow me to express our word of gratitude to the members of the Portfolio Committee for conducting a meticulous exercise in assessing the work of our department, and that the department welcomes the report and commit to provide a detailed response to the findings and recommendation of the committee. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC. Honorable members, I put the report. Are there any objections? Honorable members, I will ask the Secretary to read the third order of the day.
Consideration of report of the Standing Committee on Budget and Money Bills, Appropriation Bill 2024.
I call upon Honorable Duba as the chairperson. Your 10 minutes starts now, Honorable Duba.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The method of work presentation was made by the legislature unit to the committee on the 30th of August 2024. Subsequently, a meeting with the provincial treasury was held on the same day to discuss the content of the bill. On 07 September 2024, a meeting was held with chairpersons of portfolio committees to solicit inputs on the appropriation bill pertaining to their respective votes as per Section 10, subsection 2 of the Eastern Cape Money Bills Amendment Act and Procedure and Related Matters. Commencement of the implementation of the Eastern Cape Money Bills Act with its attainment timeframes, change of legislature terms and time limit constrained the committee from fulfilling procedures as per Section 6, Section 10, Section 10, subsection 5, Section 10, subsection 6 of the Eastern Cape Money Bill. We've considered the bill. And agreed as follows. The committee agrees to the principle of the bill, and the committee noted the content of the bill. The motion of desirability, Honorable Speaker.
as the chairperson, I move that it is in the opinion of the committee desirable that the appropriation bill be adopted to provide for the appropriation of money from the Provincial Revenue Fund for the requirement of the province of the Eastern Cape in the 2024-2025 financial year and to provide for matters incidental thereto. The committee report, the committee having considered the appropriation bill referred to it, adopts the bill without amendments. This consists of the total provincial payments for 2024-25 amounting to 95 billion 400 with 92.8 billion from the equitable share and conditional grant. The deficit is funded through provincial own receipt at 1.745 billion and provincial reserves at 802 million. Much as there are no amendments proposed in the 2024-25 appropriation bill, the committee raises the following for further deliberation and consultation before the tabling of the adjustment budget 2024-2025. The 2024 medium-term budget policy statement and the 2025-2026 appropriation bill. The committee reports note that for further deliberation and implementation prior tabling of the 2025-26 appropriation bill. A, towards resuscitating provincial economic growth, the provincial government has accordingly resolved to mobilize for public and private sector investment of socio-economic infrastructure and local, industrial and sector development. Centrally to this is the district development model. The Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs is responsible for implementation of the district development model in the province. For implementation and oversight purpose, a joint meeting between Office of the Premier, Provincial Treasury, Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs must be held before the tabling of the 2024 medium-term policy statement. B, the compensation of employees' budget allocation is above 60-40 COE budget to non-COE target ratio, and this poses a significant threat on capital, infrastructure, and goods services expenditure, which impacts on service delivery. The Provincial Treasury must undertake a study, if it has not done so, to identify where the cost pressure so that control measures can be put in place. Additionally to this, the OTP should, in liaison with the Department of Public Service and Administration, speed up finalization of organizational structures for the department that are due for such as this has a bearing on the COE budget and performance of department. C, the 60-40 COE to non-COE budget target set is a universal target for the province to ensure that not all the funding is consumed by COE, but rather directed towards service delivery, which makes it worthwhile to pursue for the department, including OTP, COGTA, and Provincial Treasury. Therefore, the department must review their service delivery model towards achieving this target, which can include pursuing a norm that will inform this. Currently, COGTA and Provincial Treasury have ratio more than 75-25, while the OTP displays a higher than expected goods and services budget. By the end of the third quarter of the current financial year, a plan should be presented to the committee towards the realization of this review. D, to facilitate the submission of credible budget facilities for infrastructure, BFI project. A project plan support sought from Kucha Development Corporation as a provincial project packager was met with limited success, as is in 2023-2024. Only 2 projects were approved, i.e. Kucha Special Economic Zone for the construction and upgrading of bulk sewer infrastructure and Nelson Mandela Bay Drought Relief Project. As such, Provincial Treasury subsequently has organized a specialist support through a service provider with the intention to support department such that they are able to successfully package the project for submission to National Treasury through the BFI process. An update on the progress should be submitted to the committee together with the tabling of the 2024 MTDPS. E, the targets for own revenue generation has been incorporated in the annual performance plan of the affected department. In addition, the revenue study was placed under the Provincial Project Support Unit, the Investment Coordination Work Stream in the Office of the Premier. The affected department are expected to report to these structures on the progress of the revenue study and receive support. The OTP and Provincial Treasury should update the committee on these reports during the tabling of 2024 MTDPS. The Provincial Treasury should also ensure that all funds due to the Provincial Treasury Fund are duly deposited by all state institutions, inclusive of municipalities and public entities. F, the remuneration of traditional leaders is an unfunded mandate, and the legislature, through the Division of Revenue Bill process, should follow up on this, and the Budget and Money Bills Committee and COGTA Portfolio Committee should engage with the Provincial Treasury on alternative ways to take this forward. Remuneration of traditional leaders through direct charge is also a consideration suggested by this committee. Public entities which are designed to assist government to venture into business space have limited investment on the infrastructure needs. Rationalization of public entities should be finalized to ensure market certainty and appropriate funding aligned to provincial priorities and mandate of these entities. Value chain analysis should be a consideration to maximize micro, small, medium enterprise involvement. H, provision of scholar transport is an unfunded mandate, and once more, the legislature, through the Division of Revenue Bill process, should follow up on this, and the Budget and Money Bill Committee and Education and Transport Portfolio Committee should engage Provincial Treasury and explore alternative ways for the funding of this function. The provision of scholar transport services to deserving learners from grade R to grade 12. For finalization, before
Honourable
the
Member, you have 2 minutes remaining.
Okay. For finalization, before the tabling of this 2024 budget adjustment, currently the budget for Department of Community Safety is at 0.1 of the total provincial budget due to high rate of crime in the province. The provincial administration should review the strategy and operation of the Department of Community Safety, and the responsive budget must be allocated to the department, and this should reflect in the 2024 MTDPS. The budget allocation per member for the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature provincial budget shows decline over 2024 MTF. The budget seems not to be responsive to the increase of the number of members, passing of the Eastern Cape money bills. A review of the legislature budget must be considered before tabling the 2024-2025 adjustment budget and 2024 MTDPS. A summary of the provincial department's efforts to realize zero-based budgeting should be submitted to the committee before the tabling of the 2024 MTDPS. The Standing Committee on Budget and Money Bills wishes to express its gratitude to the MSC and the officials of the department for their cooperation during the provincial appropriation bill. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honourable Juba. Any clarities by the committee? Any clarities by the MEC? We call upon the Honourable Dr. Fig from the DA. Your 9 minutes starts now.
Honourable Speaker, Honourable Premier, Honourable members of the Executive Council, Honourable members of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature, heads of department, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. The budget increases by 2.8% to 95.4%. I beg your pardon. The budget increases by 2.8% to 95.4 billion rand from the 2023-24 revised estimate of 92.8 billion rand, and own revenue is 1.746 billion rand, which is 13.5% lower than the 2023-24 revised estimate. The province has been slow in realizing its revenue generation potential and have set a medium-term revenue target of only 5.4 billion rand. There are departments that can generate more revenue for the province to assist in improving income. These departments include the Department of Public Works, the Department of Transport, the Department of Health, and the Department of Economic Development, Environmental Affairs and Tourism. The problem is that there's very little progress that has been made. Revenue generation takes place at healthcare institutions where services are rendered. The fees are minimal for indigent and full tariffs are charged for funded patients, including inter alia, road accident fund, medical aid schemes, correctional services, South African Police Services, and the Department of Justice. There is a need to strengthen collections, which are often missed due to incorrect classification of patients, prescription due to late billing, insufficient information to conclude claims, and in some instances, revenue due is not collected because of the inability to identify billable services. The Department of Public Works is failing. Rental collections from properties are not materializing due to illegal occupation, and in some cases, officials occupying the property not paying market-related rental or not paying at all. The department has appointed learners to assist with the recovery of rental from these properties. Honourable Speaker, we need to devise an alternative strategy in the Department of Health with regards to the issue of medical legal claims and to take seriously measures costing the province. An effective plan needs to be in order to resolve this, where in some cases claims are illegal. Of concern is the compensation of employees, which takes up a substantial portion of total provincial payments at 62.8 billion rand. The departments guilty of driving up this personal cost are the Departments of Health and Education. It is interesting to note that these two departments received qualified audit opinions. Increases in salaries are mainly due to provision for salary increase and the filling of critical vacant posts. The concern is, in an economy that is limping along, we still come to an agreement where public servants are receiving an increase above inflation. Compensation of employees' payments are 66.5% of the provincial payments, which is above the 60-40 target. The rising compensation of employees is one of the biggest risk factors to the financial sustainability of our province. While we value our civil servants and have a duty to look after their interests, it would be simply irresponsible not to acknowledge that the ever-increasing compensation of employees is a significant financial risk to the province. Reducing the compensation of employees to 60% of total receipts will free up an additional 6.15 billion rand for service delivery in the province. This could be used for houses, clinics, and schools. Another area of concern is the decision to rationalize public entities. This process is also taking forever. So, Honourable Speaker, while we have plans in place, these plans are not being implemented to meet the desired outcomes. The budget before us reflects a total infrastructure main appropriation for 2024-25 financial year that decreases by 2.6% compared to the 2023-24 financial year, even though additional funding was allocated to conditional grants for transport, health, and education. This decrease was due to reductions that was implemented to infrastructure conditional grant baselines. The province has an infrastructure budget of 9.6% to total provincial receipts. This is lower than the percentage budgets of KwaZulu-Natal and Western Cape. It is also lower per square kilometre than Gauteng, KZN, and the Western Cape. While the Honourable Premier speaks about economic growth, reducing spending on infrastructure will have a negative effect. A further concern is the payment to creditors. For the first quarter of 2024-25, only 58% of invoices were paid within 50 days as per Treasury regulations, while the remaining 42% exceeded the 30 days period. The main culprit is the Department of Health, with 82%, in other words, 2.1 billion rand of the provincial total invoices that are outstanding for more than 30 days. The failure by government to honour their financial obligations has brought untold harm to the economy of our province, with many suppliers having to close down as a result of lack of cash flow. I repeat what I said yesterday, that we must support the Department of Health's proposal that Provincial Treasury must fast-track Scopa's condonation of 2.4 billion rand in unauthorised expenditure. Over and above this, Honourable Speaker, we have no choice but to put a financial turnaround plan for the Department of Health. This department seems to be a serial offender and is prominent for all the wrong reasons. If our economy is to grow, it grows at this slow pace, we will not create jobs as outlined in the NDP. No political democracy can survive and flourish if the mass of our people remain in poverty.
Honourable Member, you have 2 minutes remaining.
The South African economy is not growing at a pace which is conducive to job creation. Our efforts to boost investor confidence and to grow the economy must be detailed in the appropriate policy documents. However, we stress that the DS policy is where growth is the first inclusion on the agenda, meaning that we recognize that our efforts to address socio-economic exclusions depend on and will be accelerated by a growing economy. Some of our key growth interventions are enable municipalities to purchase power from independent power producers, freeze the wages of public servants not covered by the occupation-specific dispensation, including the likes of highly paid head office managers and supervisors. This would protect the real front-line delivery staff. Enforce government to pay suppliers with an annual turnover of below 50 million within 21 days, down from the 30 days. In conclusion, Honourable Speaker, the budget before us does not address the following areas: the continued rampant increase in compensation of employees, the ailing and collapsing health department, increased infrastructure investment, increased revenue generation, and the rationalization of public entities. Honourable Speaker, 2030 is around the corner. We made a promise. We don't have the luxury of time. Let us work together and stop talking, but rather implementing the promises so that we can ensure a better life for all our people. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. We call upon the EFF, Honourable Aloni. Your 5 minutes starts now.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good afternoon to the honourable leaders of the economic freedom fighters in the House, the honourable MEC, honourable members, the future leaders in the gallery, and good afternoon to everyone. Honourable Vanje, utuyarhablisa. Ndiyazithanda ii-quotes zikaPlato. I quoted to Plato yesterday. To Plato, the first and the greatest victory is to conquer yourself, because to be conquered by yourself is all of the things most shamefully and vile. Otherwise, into ezakwenzeka izawuresultha kule nto kuthiwa is false consciousness. Uthi uzigqibela ulisocial elenza ii-quotes apha egalari, kanti waba licapital elidala elijoyine ne-GNU. Qha ulibele. Honourable Speaker, we have spent the past 3 days deliberating on the budget votes of all departments in the Eastern Cape. Without even considering these discussions and reflections, this report makes the recommendation for the appropriation bill to be adopted. Honourable Speaker, this report is dead, silent, and addressing the core issues that have plagued our province for years.
Honourable MEC.
The truth is simple, Honourable Speaker. Money is being allocated yearly, but the people of this province are not seeing the benefits. Honourable Speaker, year after year, billions are poured into departments, only these funds to vanish into bottomless pit of corruption and mismanagement. And what has been response to this ongoing crisis, Honourable Speaker, is silence. No one is held accountable. The very same people who misuse public funds continue in their position without consequences. This government lacks the political will to fire those responsible for the misuse of our people's money, or even attempt to recall who has been lost. This means they too are beneficiaries of the corruption in this province. Honourable Speaker, we, the EFF, reject this proposal, not out of desire or obstruct the progress, Honourable Khune, but out of our deep concern to the people of this province. I hope, Honourable Khune, Unbambi. Our rejection is based on the undeniable fact that billions of rands have been misused year after year with no meaningful outcomes. I hope this is clear again, Mr. Khune. How can we ignore conscience, continue to approve budgets when we know the funds will not reach the people? This is a government that has proven itself to be out of touch with the realities of this ground. Take the allocation towards safety, Honorable Speaker, a mere 0.15% of the total budget. This is at a time when violent crime is escalating across the province. This is at a time when the syndicates took over some parts of our beloved province. The syndicates in OR Tambo and Nelson Mandela are in charge. How else can we explain the absolute disregard for the safety of our people? The committee system of this legislature was designed to ensure transparent governance and allow the public input, but this process is meaningless if recommendations are continuously ignored. Honorable Speaker, the departments like corporate governance and traditional affairs claim to implement the district development model to drive socio-economic growth, yet the implementation is riddled with inefficiencies. There is no strategic oversight, no monitoring, and no tangible outcomes. When we have seen it with the Kuka Development Corporation and the Nelson Mandela Bay drought relief projects, 2 projects approved out of how many? In the end, Honorable Speaker, what we are witnessing is a broken system. The compensation employees' budget allocation continues to exceed 60-40 ratio threatening service delivery. Public entities are starved of proper investment. Scholar transport remains grossly underfunded, and traditional leaders continue to serve under the unfunded mandate. Yet we are asked to believe that this year's appropriation bill will certainly fix everything. The EFF says no, Honorable Speaker, will not endorse a governance that continues to fail its people. Until this government demonstrates accountability, transparency, and a genuine commitment to delivering services, we cannot in good faith support this appropriation bill. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. We call upon the ANC, Honourable Lizo. Your 14 minutes starts now.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Greetings to the Honourable Premier of the Eastern Cape, Premier Lubabalo Oscar Mabuyane, Honourable members of the Executive Council, Honourable members of the Legislature, our guests in the gallery, the people across the province who are watching us on various media platforms, I greet you all. Speaker, let me start by this debate by congratulating all members in this August House whom have been elected by their respective political parties to serve the people of the Eastern Cape under the leadership of the African National Congress-led government. And also thank the people of the Eastern Cape for giving trust and hope to the African National Congress. Hence, we do not have GNU in this province. I want to say this again. I want to thank the people of the Eastern Cape for giving us trust as the ANC and hope that we can lead them in terms of government. That's why Premier Singena GNU namhlanje. And in this province, we promise that we will not fail them. Honourable Speaker, given the decline in the equitable share provision from the national fiscus, the ANC appreciate the initiative taken by the provincial legislature to implement a budget strategy that focuses on prudent financial management and control, the fiscal sustainability, cost containment measures, limiting of the provincial wage bill, the increase in the provincial own revenue generation, and the rationalization of the public entities. Honourable Speaker, as the ANC, we are still confident that the provincial treasurer will try by all means to make sure that the revenue collection study recommendations are implemented by the departments which have been identified to have a potential of raising the revenue in the province. Honourable Speaker, more than 7 billion rands of revenue can be collected by the provincial departments as our own receipts, based on the revenue collection study, only if the provincial treasury can work and support the following departments in making sure that the study recommendations are implemented fully by the identified departments, namely, that is the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, Department of Health, Department of Transport, and the Department of Economic Development, Environmental Affairs and Tourism. Speaker, we note as the ANC with great concern that the provincial government is faced with a situation wherein the appropriation bill allocation for the Eastern Cape province from National Treasury is shrinking year in, year out, which necessitates the provincial treasury to use its own reserve to fund the deficit. Honorable Speaker, the appropriation bill which was adopted by the committee without amendments consists of the total provincial payments for 2024-2025 financial year amounting to 95.4 billion rands with 92.85 billion rands from the equitable share and the conditional grants. The deficit is funded through the provincial own receipts at 1.745 billion and the reserves at 802 million. We also hope that the provincial treasury will meet its target to raise the 1.44 million rands on its own receipt in this 2024 MTF, according to the analysis on revenue collection study, which assists us on using less and less of our reserves. Madam Speaker, for this province, for the people of this province to trust and have confidence on their government, accountability is very, very much important. To this effect that the positive improvements on audit outcomes are indicative of the ANC-led government at work to ensure good governance of the provincial government and its public entities, which then translate into the public confidence that money is used for its intended purpose. Honorable Speaker, it is pleasant to note that the appropriation bill is the anchor on the priority areas of the ANC, with focus on education and health as the major drivers of transforming the social service sector, and this perspective is highly supported. Madam Speaker, the African National Congress takes a tune from our 55th National Congress as we observe that in order to advance our economic transformation, we need to do the following. One is to promote growth and development. Two is to eradicate the triple scourge of unemployment, poverty, and inequality. Three is to promote youth employment, small business development, and cooperatives. Building a developmental state with the technical and political capacity to lead development and transform the economy. In order to achieve these things that are above mentioned, we implemented the economic reconstruction and recovery plan after the COVID-19 pandemic, which has resulted into a number of jobs being created in the province, retention of the jobs by the employees, and the financial support of the businesses. Speaker, as the ANC, we urge provincial government to work tirelessly to attract investors to come and invest in our beautiful province, to boost our economic growth, to creating employment in the province, which will lead into increasing the provincial fiscus. And in the main, therefore, we appreciate the visit of the Premier of the Eastern Cape to China, which has yielded to a good result of the investor, which will be based in the East London ITZ, and many more to come. Honorable Speaker, we do need private funding in our province to boost our economy. Speaker, therefore, it is in this spirit that we support this call that towards provincial economic growth, the provincial government has accordingly resolved to mobilize for the public and private sector investment for socio-economic infrastructure and local industrial and sector development. Central to this is the DDM, that is the Discrete Development Model. Indeed, throughout the province is the construction site to enable the environment for the investors to come and invest without any challenges, and we continue to strive to get, and we will continue to strive to get more private funding. Speaker, Honorable Speaker, we are saying the doors of learning shall be opened, and education is a right, not a privilege, as enshrined in the Freedom Charter. Therefore, the ANC, As the ANC, we applaud the provincial government for providing scholar transport to our deserving learners, and the provincial treasury must come up with ways of generating money to accommodate all deserving learners for scholar transport on the basis that the provision of scholar transport services to deserving learners from grade R to grade 12 who travel 5 kilometers or more within a single trip to the nearest public school has been allocated an amount of 725 million rands in 2024 and 2025 financial year and 2.255 billion rands over the 2024 MTEF. A total of 103,000 learners are planned to benefit from the program in the 2024-2025 financial year. This number, Honorable Speaker, is less than the actual number of learners in need of scholar transport in the province. This also requires an urgent intervention. Honorable Speaker, as the ANC, we note with great concern that the statistics of crime in the province is rising. We are of the view that although the national government still do not want to deploy the South African National Defence Force in the province to fight the kinds of crimes that are taking place, as the ANC, we still stand firm to the clarion call that the Minister of Defence must deploy the SANDF to the province to assist the law enforcement agencies, whom they have been trying their best to fight the criminals that are committing serious crimes, especially in the Nelson Mandela, BCM, and the OR Tambo regions. Honorable Speaker, as the ANC, we also support the march of the citizens of OR Tambo, whom they took upon to the streets to submit the petition to the MEC of Transport and Safety, saying enough is enough about extortions and the protection fees. The ANC-led government, through its economic reconstruction recovery plan, which is being implemented, has shown positive results in decreasing the unemployment rate in the province, although our unemployment rate is still higher than the national unemployment rate at 32%, but we are indeed recovering and creating employment in the province. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, we cannot as a provincial government turn a blind eye on what is happening in these hotspots of crime because businesses are closing in Mthatha and our people are losing jobs because of these extortions, meaning that criminals are taking us back to poverty against what the provincial government is doing to fight unemployment and poverty in the province. As the ANC, Honorable Speaker, we note with great concern that the current budget of the Department of Community Safety is sitting at 0.1% of the total budget, which is the smallest of them all, and we understand that the community safety is funded through the national budget. Therefore, we urge our provincial treasury to engage with the national treasury with regards to the budget of the community safety of the province, on the basis that due to high rate of crime in the province.
Honourable Member, you have 2 minutes remaining.
The provincial administration should review the strategy and operations, the operations of the Department of Community Safety and a responsive budget to be allocated to the department. Honourable Speaker, as the ANC, we are not pleased that the budget allocation per member of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature to budget shows a decline over the 2024 MTF. The budget seems not to be responsive to the increase in the number of honourable members from 63 to 72. Secondly, the passing of the Eastern Cape Money Bills Amendment Procedure and the Relative Matters Act with its implications. Honourable Speaker, provincial appropriation budget allocation is shrinking due to the stagnant economy and high standard of living that we are experiencing in our daily lives, which necessitate provincial treasury to come up with cost containment measures and strategy ways for the provincial department and municipalities delivering on their constitutional mandates with the legal resources that they've been allocated. Hence, Honourable Speaker, we support the summary of the provincial department's effort to realize a zero-based zero-based budgeting should be submitted to the committee before tabling, before the tabling of the 2024 medium-term budget policy statement. Honourable Speaker, as the ANC, we support the money bill report as recommended. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. We call upon the Honourable MEC, Honourable Mvoko. Your 10 minutes starts now, Honourable MEC.
Thank you very much. Greetings to you, Honourable Speaker. And I'm no longer going to complain about time. The Premier will take up the matter on how much time is allocated to us. Thank you. Greetings to you, Honourable Speaker, Honourable Premier, the Deputy Speaker, the Chief Whip, honourable members of the House. Let me appreciate the opportunity to talk on the recommendations made by the Standing Committee on Budget and Money Bills, but I'd like to take a few matters that were raised earlier. Hopefully today I will find time to come to what I had prepared for. The COE on the Department of Health and the Department of Education, I think we must locate this discussion correctly, because the nature of the two departments demand that their COE budgets are higher. I think we must locate it there, because everyone talks about the shortage of nurses, shortage of doctors, shortage of teachers and security personnel, and in both departments. But on the other hand, people criticize the two departments for having that. I think we've got to locate it correctly without spending time on it. But also, Dr. Fick, Honourable Speaker, bargaining for employees' benefits and salaries is central. I remember there was a year when the Eastern Cape, both at the legislature and as well on the other side, and had a different view on the percentage proposed. But because it is central, you are subjected to that. So it shouldn't be reduced to something that is in our hands as the province. I think I spoke about the support to the Department of Health yesterday at length. To Honourable Doza, I think as time goes by, he will learn when he does a comparison between the two administration. Fortunately, fortunately, some are here, and you will see the comparison. And lastly, I think Honourable Ngata did a good job in mobilizing honourable members from both sides on community safety. We hear the call. Let me start by saying that the provincial equitable share has been consistently decreasing. Now, if we look at the weighted average share for the province in 2012, the weighted average in 2012 was 14.9%. And as we speak today, the weighted average is 12.84%. Now, the weighted average is the amount that we receive from the total equitable share of the country. So in 2012, we received 14.9% of the total equitable share for all provinces in the country. Today, this year, we are receiving 12.84% in our weighted average, which is percentage of the total equitable share. So our debate should be located also, in that premise that yearly what we are getting is decreasing. Of course, we know that the decline is primarily due to the net decrease in the province's population, with more out-migration than in-migration. It's important to highlight that the process for budget has begun with effect from July And National Treasury has already issued the budget guidelines for provinces to align with it. Already the indications are that there is no new money, and provinces are encouraged to operate on a reprioritization budget. There's, however, a lot of bidding that is still going on, and that is also going to take place in various national and provincial forums before final decisions are taken. Tomorrow, which is the 13th of September, tomorrow, yeah, I'm attending a budget council meeting in Pretoria, where Minister Finance Minister Kodongwana is meeting MECs of all provincial treasuries to provide guidance on the related matters. So, as you know, that the provincial budget had a deficit that was funded through provincial own receipts at 1.745 billion and provincial reserves at 802 million. Now, this move gives credence to the great work done by provincial treasury in preparing the budget for 2024 medium-term expenditure framework. More importantly, it provides the opportunity for provincial government to deliver on their priorities and render the much-needed services to our communities uninterrupted. The issues raised in the report are indeed in the interest of the province. If one considers the slow growth of our economy, the wage bill that is above the norm, and the reported high rate of crime amongst many issues. I must reflect that the 2024-25 MTF budget was developed under challenging economic environment characterized by slow economic growth, with attention given to risk factors impacting national and provincial economic outlook. I don't need to mention all of those. I think you know. Ours, however, is to lead with strategic precision and technical expertise, ensuring that every coin of public funds is invested wisely for the betterment of our people. Regarding the compensation of employment, which I started with budget allocation, the House should note that the provincial treasury will undertake this study as recommended by the committee. Furthermore, provincial treasury will follow up with the Office of the Premier and the Department of Public Service and Administration to speed up finalization of organizational structures of departments. The revenue study, look, we are the first as provincial treasury to indicate that we are not doing well in revenue collection. We were the first to admit. The Office of the Premier and Provincial Treasury will update the committee on the support provided by the PPSU, because we are making use of the PPSU in the Office of the Premier. Also, the investment coordination work stream, also in the Office of the Premier, on progress of the revenue study during the tabling of the medium-term budget policies statement. We'll also ensure that all funds flow to Treasury. Somebody talked about it yesterday, and I see it's coming back. It is true. I think there was also a question, I think it was Honorable Kasim, on what happens when you sell a car. Any
Honorable
revenue
MEC, you have 2 minutes remaining.
Any revenue generated in the province comes to Treasury. We are aligning with the committee's observation that the response of leading departments on these issues has been slow. With that said, we are engaging the department to address the slow implementation. Then the mentioned Department of Public Works, etc., etc. We are providing support through the appointment. We have appointed now student interns to work in collaboration with the department towards collecting revenue from tenants, stabilizing and formalizing a revenue register for rental properties. We will also provide a summary of the provincial department's efforts to realize zero-based budgeting, which should be submitted to the committee before the tabling of the 2024 MTBBS. And lastly, we will conduct a review of the legislature budget before the tabling of the 2024-25 adjustment budget and the medium-term budget policy statement as recommended by the committee. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC. Honorable members, I put the report. Are there any objections? Thank you so much. Honorable members, we have come to the stage of the Committee of the Whole House. The Appropriation Bill 2024 stands referred to the Committee of the Whole House in terms of Rule 158.5 of the Standing Rules of the Procedure. I will now ask the Chairperson of Committee of Chairpersons to take the chair.
Now, thank you very much, honorable members. We have actually come to that time of passing the bill, and we will go vote by vote. Now, I would want to put vote 1. I put vote 1. Any objection?
No, never. No.
I put vote 2. Any objection?
No. Never.
Honorable Fick.
Honorable Chairs, please note the objection of the DA.
Okay, the DA objected in vote 2.
Thank you, Chair.
Specifically for vote 2, I beg your pardon.
The objection of the Freedom Front Plus. Thank you.
Okay. So, Dr. Fick, the DA objected. Vote 2.
Chair.
Mr. Honorable May objected. Vote 2. Honorable Matigizela.
We are objecting both of them, Chair. No, Chair.
We're on vote.
No, the rules, Chair, say after you have called for the vote, you must ask for the objection. So you didn't do that. At the recording of the objection, you didn't do that in vote 1. So hence I'm raising it now that the EFF must be recorded that it has objected to vote 1 and then it has objected to vote 2. It's not difficult. It doesn't need howling.
Okay.
Just recording.
Vote. Vote 3.
Agree.
Honorable Mark, Dr. Fick, just hold on. Honorable Zinti.
Enkosi Chair, uke wanziba kula vote yesibini. I stand as the UDM to welcome all the votes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Support.
Vote 3, Dr. Fick.
Honorable Chair of Chairs, thank you. Please note the objection of the DA for vote number 3.
Honorable members, I come here, Dr. Fick.
Honorable Chair of Chairs, please note the objection of the DA for vote number 3.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. The objection of vote 3. Thank you. Freedom Front Plus.
Plus. I put Honorable
Chair,
Tizo.
Also on the point of procedure, there can't be an objection of or welcoming of all votes. But let me comment on this one. I object. I'm objecting vote 3. The EFF objects vote 3.
Yeah. Vote 4.
Agreed.
Any objection?
Oh, never.
Vote 5. Honorable Puya. Oh, we have women. Oh, okay. Any objection? Oh.
No, never. 80.
Vote 6.
Agreed.
Any objection?
No, never.
Honorable Chair of Chairs, please note the objection of the DA for vote number 6.
Thank you, Chair. The objection of vote 6, Freedom Front Plus. Thank you.
Vote 7.
Agreed.
Any objection?
No, never.
Vote 8.
Agreed.
No objection?
No.
Vote 9.
Agreed.
Any objection?
Yes.
Vote 10.
Agreed.
Any objection?
No
objections. Traffic.
Thank you, Honorable Chair of Chairs. Please note the objection of the DA for vote 10.
Thank you, Chair. The objection of the Freedom Front, vote 10. Thank you.
Vote 11.
Agreed.
Any objection?
No.
Traffic.
Thank you, Honorable Chair of Chairs. Please note the objection of the DA for vote 11.
Freedom Front Plus? Are you okay? Thank you. Vote 12.
Agreed.
Any objection?
No, never.
Vote 14.
Agreed.
Any objection?
No, never.
Vote 15.
Agreed.
Any objection?
No.
Okay. I put clause 1 to 2 of the bill.
Agreed.
I put part A and B of the bill.
Agreed.
I put schedule A and B of the bill.
Agreed.
I put the whole bill.
Agreed. The whole bill. The whole bill.
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Vulela nabantu balapha eSouth Africa, Eastern Cape.
I'll call the speaker to come in.
it back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to the Honourable Chair of Chairs presiding over that portion of the House. I will now request the chairperson of committees, of chairpersons to report the bill with or without amendments.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Speaker, I shall report to you the bill without the amendments. However, I would like to note the following for recording purpose: that vote 1 EFF objected, vote 2 DA Freedom Front Plus and EFF objected, vote 3 DA EFF Plus and EFF objected, vote 6 DA FF Plus objected, and vote 10 DA and FF Plus objected, vote 11 DA objected. Otherwise, the bill has been passed without any amendments. Honourable Speaker, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honourable Chair of Chairs. Thank you once again. I will now request the MEC for Finance to move for the adoption of the bill.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I move that the bill be passed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, honourable members. I put the bill.
Agreed.
Any objections?
No, never.
Thank you so much, honourable members. Let me appreciate, honourable members, to the Committee of Chairpersons, Honourable Duba, the Money Bills Committee that have done the work. We will all note that this is the first time that we have done our work under the stewardship of the Chair of Chairs, who's also the portfolio committee of that, and all of the members. Let's also thank the Honourable Premier, the Executive Council Secretary, and your support for ensuring that the Appropriation Bill 2024 has finally been passed by this House. I think members should also note that the peculiarity of the bill in the time period where we are, that noting that we've gone through an election, but already the spend of the bill has been done as from April. So it's not a normal year where you would come and you would want to basically oppose the bill. This is a bill that is already in working order and has already been implemented as such, but this is the processes that the legislature must confirm with. Honourable members, I would want to thank all of you for the matter, but there's just one matter that I would want to clarify for the House, and I would want the Honourable Chief Whip to take up this matter. With the Honourable Deputy Speaker, we must really ensure that we put an extra effort into taking members through the rules book. It is unfortunate that members would want to stand here and to throw to the presiding officer as if he or she would not understand the rules. The point that I am speaking about is the conduct of Honourable Kasim. Unfortunate thing is for Honourable Kasim does not understand that in the rules book, the only power is vested in the presiding officer to call for irrelevance and repetition. There's no other member that the rule is clear. So you see there he is going again. He's not even now being ill-disciplined, that's just utter rudeness that is there. So I would appeal to the Deputy Speaker to please to take up this matter, sit with the Chief Whip, sit with the leaders of the political parties so that it's a process. I know there are others that are here to learn and to understand, and there are others who would always want to just stand up and to speak in that order. Honourable members, that concludes the discussion on this matter and the business of the House. The House will adjourn until further notice. Thank you so much.